Next we have a game I really should have spread across 2 episodes, State of Emergency. I've owned this game on PS2 and the sealed Xbox copy for about 7 years, but I'm only just trying it out now. I would see this game cheap in shops, look at the box and assume we had another Grand Theft Auto 3 wannabe, but this game was quite a bit different than I expected. The game's backstory starts in the year 2023, after an economic crisis the American Trade Organization, or just the corporation, manages to form their own military and overthrows the US government. 12 years after establishing their police state, in 2035 a resistance group called Freedom appears to bring down the corporation, inciting a nationwide riot, causing the corporation to declare a state of emergency and sending out the military to end it. Well, we have 2 game choices, Chaos or Revolution. I try out Chaos first since it's the top option. There are 5 characters in the game, but we only start with 2. First we have Roy McNeil, or Mac. He's a former police officer fired for refusing to gun down rioters. Because of the respect he held in the police force, they also protested, leading to them being replaced with the corporation's own security firm. While protesting, the ex-police find evidence of corporation-funded organised crime targeting non-corporation-owned businesses. Many of these officers were assassinated and Roy went into hiding, joining Freedom. Right away I have only one choice for a stage, the Capital City Mall. I have 3 more options at the beginning, Chaos, a 3-minute mode and 5-minute mode. Right now I'm going with Chaos. I start with 3 minutes to begin with for causing as much mayhem as possible for more points. There are weapons to pick up such as the bins and nightsticks from defeated security. I get points for taking out gangsters and police and destroying shop windows and the like, but I lose points for killing civilians. Every now and then there will be limited bonus times, such as here where I'll get bonus points for smashing 5 windows. I can also grab enemies to pummel them, and near this I get a hatchet as a weapon. Not long after I also get a pepper spray, which isn't that useful. As you can see, the gameplay is very simple, but it's fast paced enough and there are enough enemies to mow down that it's quite fun. Especially when I get a weapon. I mean, this game came out in 2002, so having so many NPCs on screen is impressive. Other weapons I get on this run include a shotgun which can blow heads off, there's the M16 which just tears through groups of NPCs, very easy to end up catching civilians though. There's a sword, just lying there on the floor in a shopping centre. The ideal weapon for smashing windows with apparently. It gets me a 2x point multiplier when killing enemies. We have the grenade launcher which only has 5 rounds. With these you can fire into the windows or doorways of buildings to blow them up inside for more bonus points. While all this is going on you can see I'm knocking clocks out of my enemies to add more time back. Gotta also love the announcer.
Kill corporation forces for bonus score!
He's just thrilled to be telling me this. A bit later I get a flamethrower which is a godsend when you're surrounded and getting your health chipped away. I hang around in this car on the 2nd floor for a while until I get a shot to my last bit of health. I run downstairs and desperately look for some more health until I accidentally set myself alight with a Molotov cocktail and finish myself off with 860,000 points.
You've been killed!
Top score by the way. I decide to give it another go, let's see how well I do with a better idea of how the game works. I still can't not set myself on fire though. I don't last long though and my killer is Jim Sterling. In this dark future the corporation even swayed him to their side. Why, Jim? Well, for just getting 25,000 points in the mall, I've unlocked Chinatown. Right away I pick up a taser which, surprise, can't break windows. Well, with a punch button it can. This stage is larger than the mall, but I won't be talking too much about the level layouts right now, that's for later. Also, I get a penalty for killing a civilian from just smashing a window. What the hell? But unless I get penalties for civilians killed by police, because it happens again a little later. After smashing some more windows with dustbin, I get the rocket launcher. I love this thing. Only 5 shots, but the range is amazing. It takes out any vehicle or building right away for loads of points. I even get a second one on that same street. There is also the pistol, but I find it pretty crappy and prefer just using my fists over it. It doesn't help that right after using it I get ganged up and beaten to death with 480,000 points. Next I choose Libra, real name Anna Price. She's a former criminal attorney who turned on the corporation after she was blackmailed into falsifying evidence against political prisoners. When she threatened to expose the corporation, her husband and daughter were killed by a car bomb. She's also believed to have been killed in the explosion and is out for revenge. But how does she play differently from Mac? Not much. I don't even know if the playable characters have any differences other than the animations because I never had to switch up how I played when I changed the character until about the end. In terms of new weapons this time, I pick up a bench, and soon after a cleaver. That gets me double points on kills. Soon after there's a minigun with 120 ammo. No bonus points, but look at the carnage I cause, I don't need a bonus. Trying to avoid civilians as collateral damage is impossible though. There's the AK-47, it's another machine gun, don't know what else to say. There's also an Uzi, it's not as good but it's better than the pistol. By the way, I love how she holds a shotgun and runs with it like it's a pistol. But it all comes crashing down when I attack a group of corporation soldiers only for there to be more than I thought, getting me into my last bit of health. I run around as they chase me looking for someone to fight back with, pick up a sword but get finished off with 378,000 points, less than last time. But I was so close to that top score the first time I give it another go. I do better this time and crack that 500,000 point milestone. While I'm at it, I'd like to point out that this game has an enjoyable soundtrack. I just didn't realise until getting the music for this video because it's so quiet in game you won't hear most of it. I last quite a while this time and I'm finally taken down at 831,000 points. Now that amount of points isn't necessary, I only needed 50,000 to unlock the side stage. This is probably the simplest stage in the game, basically just 3 straight streets and a couple of little bits. Once again, more detail later. It's in here I finally get a baseball bat. It's not as satisfying as the other melee weapons, but it's longer than the rest of them except for maybe the sword. That's about it, and I meet my end getting shot with 720,000 points. 3rd place on the scoreboard. I swap back to Mac for my next try. This was painful, running around holding the shop sign with no enemy to beat with it. I mentioned Libra holding the shotgun like a pistol, but what about Mac holding the minigun like a nightstick? I do fine until I'm killed by a building blowing up in my face at 880,000 points. Not the top score, so I keep trying. Next I'll make it to 560,000 points. But my next try I crossed that 1 million points and beat the highest score. When you're playing you don't actually realise how long one session in Chaos Mode can last. This one took around 20 minutes. I don't last much longer after this though, but I got what I was after. I wasn't counting the high scores towards 100% in the game, I just really wanted to beat them because I was having fun. I only actually needed 100,000 to unlock the final level, Corporation Central. This is maybe the biggest level of the game, having a few areas all separated by these subway sections. I do quite well for a first attempt and end up with 851,000 points. But then I see that high score of 1.5 million. My next try starts strong, getting over 150,000 in the first minute thanks to a 5x window bonus and a machine gun. And that momentum keeps up for the entire game until I get to 1,370,000 and I get juggled by 2 rockets and utterly destroyed. That was gutting. Then next time I just barely get 2/3 of the way there. My 4th try was wank, I just get 230,000 points. But on my 5th try I get it. That was only 5 tries, but it resulted in over an hour of footage. So that's Chaos Mode, which is quite fun, but it can't be the only thing to justify buying the game, especially for full price in 2002. And I think these 2.5 hours on Chaos have been good enough practice for the main game, Revolution Mode. Here, rather than aimless rioting, we're involved in organised missions to weaken the corporation. Once again we start with just Capital City Mall. Right when I start, there's this guy I can talk to for a mission. He says that someone has tipped the corporation off on us and sent a couple guys to spy on us. My first mission is to follow the marker to kill these 2. A simple enough start to this mode in case you pick Revolution first. Once they're dead I'm told to meet my contact in front of Max's bar. He says they're going to take out the security control room by smuggling in detonators disguised as mobile phones. They're in the window of the shop Big Dollar. However, there are also mall rats trying to kill me on the way. Once they're dealt with I smash open one of the windows to get the box of detonators and carry them over to our demolitions expert at Auto Shack. I get attacked by more mall rats and accidentally destroy the detonators, requiring me to do the mission again. And guess what? It happens a 2nd time, and the 3rd. Turns out putting the box on the floor destroys it, using it to smash a few guys' heads in doesn't affect it in any way. The expert comes out and I hand them over. He then tells me to go see Victor at Max's, and after I take care of some security, I do. He says phase 1 is complete and next tells me to meet up with their saboteur and escort him to the security control room while everyone's on their lunch break. He's at the Auto Shack and we set off. He doesn't help me while I get my head kicked in though, but at least I seem to be ignoring him. He walks into the control room, more officers show up for me to beat, and the saboteur emerges, telling me to run too as the room explodes. Now I just have to escort him back to Auto Shack. Back to Victor, who wants me to take out the escaping officers and claim the vital documents they're taking with them. I catch up to them just before they get to the back door and start whacking them. I take out the guy with the documents and take them back to Victor. The corporation wants their plans back while our hacker wants to upload them to the underground. He gives me the plans on floppy disk and I take it to the hacker at the bookshop. While he uploads them I have to protect the shop from the corporation. Sadly, while I'm distracted, one of them casually walks in and I fail. Same thing happens next time. Even though they're not in the shop yet, once they've entered that animation, they're a pain to stop. The 3rd time I stop one just as he begins walking in, only for one I was fighting previously to take that chance. 4th time I'm successful and the hacker comes out to thank me and gives me the crappy pistol as a so-called reward. It gets shot out of my hand soon after and I don't care to pick it up. Now Victor says we need a security pass to bug the corporation phone exchange. There's a phone executive coming in the back entrance so I run after him but keep getting more cops over my ass. He tricks me into going down the escalator and wasting enough time for him to escape. The 2nd time he sees me, turns right around and ends up in invincible doorway state, getting away again. And then the exact same thing happens the 3rd time. Next time though I catch him and show no mercy. I then deliver the pass back to Max's. We now the phone freak waiting for me at the shop Candy Girl. I have to get into the phone exchange so we can plant the bugs. Candy Girl is upstairs near the back door. I meet the phone freak and we run right for the phone exchange, which is back downstairs and not far from Max's. Security gave him a bit of a beating but he gets inside, but now I have to protect another shop. Luckily I have an Uzi. Unluckily one went in while the entrance was off screen and killed the phone freak. I get it done right on my second attempt. I take the freak back to Candy Girl, but security ignores me on the way back and annihilates him in seconds. Gotta do it again. I mean, he did his job and bugged the place. Do we really need him to survive after that? Can I just continue on? Once again, they get inside the shop. Fourth try, I take a different, slightly longer route back to Candy Girl and deliver him back safely. Back with Victor, and it turns out that the phone tapping exposed a mole in Freedom. He's about to hand over a list of Freedom operatives over to a corporation exec, so Victor hands me a shotgun to take him out with and retrieve that list. However, I didn't pay full attention and I kill him before he hands over the list instead of after, like he asked. So next time I actually stand and wait while he hands over the list and confirms he's a mole. Then I run in and take both of them out, reclaim the list and give it to Victor. My next mission has me sent to get an ID card from one of the corporation's doctors so they can hack into the medical system, as they've been tampering with some free inoculations that they've been giving out. For this he gives me a pipe. All I do is go up a nearby escalator, take out the passing doctor and give Victor his ID card. Turns out that there's a nanotech chip in each syringe. They set up a free clinic near the shop joypad and I'm given an Uzi to kill the doctors with. After that arrow isn't helpful for a bit, I eventually find the doctors and gun them all down. I then pick up the medical crate and hand it over to Victor. After their tech guys analyse the chips, one of them thinks he's found something interesting, so I meet up with him around the corner and he tells me the chips are meant for turning the victim into mindless mad bombers that will then be used to discredit the resistance. One comes running around the corner and I shoot him to blow him up before he can get to us. However, another sneaks up from behind and kills the technician. Twice. I save him the third time and escort him back to Candy Girl so he can publish this information. There is one more bad bomber on the way, but I actually reacted quick enough and avoided having to repeat the mission again. There's still bombers on the way back to Victor to finish the mission though. Next up, the shop Magruder's is where a lot of the security forces hang out, and we want to take them out. So I have to steal a barrel from the window of Scooter's bar and take it to the demolitions expert. Scooter's isn't far away and I get the barrel, then it's just down the escalator and back to Auto Shack to hand it over so he can get to work modifying it. I end the mission with Victor and talk to him again. The bomb's ready, so I pick it up from Auto Shack and haul it over to Magruder's near Max's. I leave the barrel at the door, run off and wait for the explosion. But it doesn't happen, and Reggie, the demolitions expert, goes in to fix the detonator. He doesn't even move while I take down security and he still somehow fixes it. Magruder's explodes and I report back to Victor. One of our bases has been raided and an agent just barely made it to us alive, but he needs medical attention. But the corporation has also raided our supplies, so I have to run over to Westco Drugs and steal some from the windows. Westco is just around the corner next to the escalators and I smash the window, pick up the crate and ignore the bullets riddling my body as I sprint back to Victor and save the agent. But he has more bad news. The corporation isn't happy about us bombing their hangout spot, so they're going to publicly execute one of Freedom's agents. He gives me an Uzi and sends me to save him. I hang back and try taking out the firing squad from a distance, but one guy attacks me from behind and wastes time, so I end up scrambling to take on the firing squad with my fists. One guy breaks away while I'm doing this and beats the agent to death. The second attempt was pathetic. Third time I save him and have to return him to the safe house at Candy Girl. Easy done. Next step is winning over Mad Willie, owner of the gun shop. He's afraid of the corporation coming after him if he helps us, so I have to represent Freedom in negotiations with him. He'll help us if we reclaim a priceless antique katana from the Hmong dynasty that the mall rats have taken from him. The mall rats are outside Scooter's bar, and after the pistol proves unhelpful, I switch to my limbs and then upgrade to a hatchet. Then I just pick up the katana and take it back. As thanks, he's one of us. And back to Victor. The walk back was less than 10 seconds, and yet the corporation not only already knows about our deal with Willie, but have also sent in their forces to take over his shop. I run up to his shop, where he's left an AK-47 lying on the floor for me. Now it's just a case of not letting anyone inside. I run out of bullets in the third wave, but I still manage to protect him. For my next mission, the corporation has one of our operatives held in the movie theatre. I take out the guards in front of the theatre and... where's the agent? Oh. I didn't know who he was before, but he got here in one piece, so it's alright. He sets off a gas grenade and leaves me a shotgun to mow down the escaping forces. Oh no, because the gas makes me drop it, so now I'm chasing them down. However, one gets out the back door and I have to try again. The second time I beat them down with a sign, get the shotgun and hang back a bit. They don't last long this time. A couple more come out but get caught in the gas and I kill them too. Now it's just dropping 2 agents off at Candy Girl. It gets too close. Since neither of them will defend themselves even when I'm outnumbered, the agent who set off the gas ends up with an empty life bar. But I get them there. Yet only the one we saved goes in. No health guiding is taken to Blossoms. Thankfully it's just on the escalator and there aren't many attackers. He says he also has some jobs for us and I get back to Victor. We'll stick with Victor's missions for now though. Our bug at the phone exchange has picked up the news that a squad of shock troops are about to attack the Candy Girl base. He tells me to stop anyone getting in but doesn't give me any weapons for this one. It's okay though because when I got there Mad Willie had sent over an Uzi. First wave comes and I gun them down, get another Uzi from the second lot, then have a mad bomber ignore my punches and run right into Candy Girl, destroying the base. The second time one runs right past me while I'm fighting the second wave. Third time I deal with him but one trooper runs past and I end up punching him inside the shop. Next time I deal with the bomber but another one turns up and gets in anyway. This brings me to an aspect of the game I really like. Although this game isn't as similar to Grand Theft Auto 3 as I was expecting, it's definitely superior to it in one aspect, and that's the speed of it. In GTA, when failing a mission, you'd usually have a long journey back to the mission start, a load screen, a cutscene to skip, another load screen, and the journey back to the mission destination. Here everything's really quick. The maps aren't as big so it doesn't take as long to return to the mission giver, and it's just quick text boxes for each step. I'd say failing and repeating the same mission 5 times in State of Emergency is around 5 times quicker than doing the same in most Grand Theft Autos. This isn't a judgment on which game is better, just one big aspect I preferred in this game. Anyway, on my 4th attempt I take out the second bomber and have protected the safe house. I still have to deal with bombers on my way back to confirm the successful mission with Victor though. And now we have Corporation cleanup squads coming to take back the mall. All I have to do is take out every guy with a red marker above his head. This is easier than previous missions since it's just a straightforward brawl, no need to protect anyone. Next, Victor tells me that the head of Corporation Security is visiting the mall. The important part is his secretary carrying a copy of his itinerary, which is my next target. I go upstairs where he's belting it towards me with a firing squad behind him. I punch him in the face and stamp his head in, ignoring all those irritating bullets until I get the itinerary and hand it over to Victor. With it, we know the head of security is going to arrive in the car park soon. I head over there and am immediately shot at. I have no weapons, so I punch a couple out until I get a nightstick and can take out more at once. I slowly make my way through the protection and find the executive hiding in the corner. I kill him and return to base, and with that, we're done with Victor for a while. He leaves Max's, so I finally go help out that guy at Blossoms. I have to meet our hacker, who's getting data from the corporation mainframe, at a payphone. When I get there, I have to cover him from attackers. The camera screws me at one point and they kill him. I keep him safe next time and escort him back to Candy Girl. Wouldn't it be safer to find another safe house if the corporation already knows there's one at Candy Girl? I feel my point is proven when, as I'm nearly there, security shows up and he gets shot to death. I get him back on my 3rd try though. I pause to check how far along I am and I see I have 63% of them all done. Our hacker managed to get a list of corporation informants from the mainframe. He gives me the list and I have to take them out before they cause us any trouble. The first one is close by and while chasing him, I also end up with a pack of guards chasing me. After I take him out, the second informant just runs on by while I'm dealing with the guards. The third ends up being where I found the first, and the fourth I find in front of Big Willie's gun shop. The fifth one was very slippery and it was quite a chase before I took him down. After him I get a message letting me know that there's even more than that. The sixth informant once again leads me on a ridiculous chase. After him I still have another 4 to take down before the mission is accomplished. We now have more new information. The corporation is supplying weapons to gangs with the Protect gun shop. These gangs have also been secretly working for the corporation. I meet up with another agent around the back of the shop. He gives me some Molotov cocktails and I torch the place. Hang on, wasn't that Willie's shop? Next up we have knowledge of a security weapons cache in a storeroom. I just have to take over and hold it until another agent shows up. This storeroom is where I was given the Molotovs last mission. I take out all the security guards and gain access. Now I just have to keep this place defended from the 2 waves of security that come to take it back. After that a load of Freedom agents turn up to help deal with the next wave. I do accidentally kill most of them myself with the spread from my shotgun, but the 2 survivors don't mind that much. Now the mall rats are harassing the owner of the jewelers that we've been using to launder Freedom assets. I meet the jeweler and escort him to his shop, killing the mall rats on the way. Once he's in, I have to protect the shop from more of them. I've got to say, the shop protection missions are my least favourite because of how easy it is for just one in a group of enemies to slip in. I'm actually very lucky this time. In that big group, one barges right past me but stops at the door to try shooting me instead. This lets me beat this mission on the first try. With the jeweler being great for our help, I'm now going to intercept a corporation cash delivery to the bank and stash it at the jewelers. I do wish the corporation had an actual name so I'm not just repeating the corporation every time. Luckily I catch the executive with the cash just before he escapes and kill him. Then the jewelers is right next to me, so this was a very quick and easy mission. Now I must destroy another bar being used as a corporation surveillance spot, Big Mama's bar. I'm given a single grenade and I spend a minute or so battering security over the head with it, confused by the arrow until the camera turns to reveal I was standing in front of Big Mama's the whole time. So I blow up their listening post and head back to Blossoms. It's time now for a good old bank robbery. I pick up the guys from Candy Girl and we head to the bank. Sadly I'm not doing any robbing myself, I have to wait outside and deal with security and end up letting one in because I got surrounded. This time I get there with a cleaver. Doesn't help because one grabs me right away and 2 of them get inside. Third time and security's already waiting for us outside the bank. At least my agents put forth some kind of effort fighting back this time. Still gonna fight off security after they go in though, but this time I have Newsy so it's easy. Now I just have to get them back, which was a little scary because none of them had any health left and there were a couple guards on the way. But I still had some ammo so I got them to the jewelers safe. That was the last mission at Blossoms, but now Victor is back outside Max's. Turns out the mall rats are running a kidnapping ring providing escorts for corporate officials. Well, this game got dark quick. I have to team up with a guy named Gibson to tear gas the place and kill the officials as they come out. Gibson's waiting for me at Auto Shack and I get him inside the shop the girls are being held. The gas goes off and I chase after those officials. Sadly one of them escapes, and the same thing happens next time. Next time I think to bring a gun and they don't get very far. Back at base, Victor says the girls are going to be safe. The mall rats now want to meet in the car park to negotiate with us. Victor says it's most likely a trap but sends me just to be sure. I head on over and sure enough there's 3 of them with baseball bats. I take them out and take one of their bats because more show up. I have an upgrade to a hatchet for the last couple. When I get back, Victor says they need dealing with. He says they were seen heading into Scooter's bar just after trying to ambush me, and now it's time to finish them off for good. I head on over and hatchet them all to death. There's 4 waves of them, but the hatchet is a very good weapon for groups of enemies. After I take them out, their leader emerges to challenge me. He gets taken out immediately. That's one of the gangs and the big corporation ally eliminated. With one threat taken care of, it's time to meet a heavy weapons dealer. The mission is so secret, Victor won't even tell me what the target is. I just have to hand over the money and bring back the weapon. I meet the dealer by the exit and he leaves me a crate. Thing is, security are now showing up with shotguns and I get killed trying to evade them. When you die, you get put back at 2 different restart options. And considering I died at 91%, I was shitting myself. Since you don't see any save icons or options, I was genuinely worried the game might expect me to do all 30 something missions in one go. If that was the case, I would have abandoned this game and tried something else. This time, instead of trying to clear out the enemy, I just run with the crate but it keeps getting shot out of my hands and I die again. 3rd time the crate gets destroyed, 4th time I get killed again, 5th time I get close but die with Victor just in my sight. 6th time the box is destroyed again and I die soon after. I finally managed to bring the crate back on my 7th attempt. The corporation are rallying the last of their reinforcements near the federal office. There's something waiting for me on the upper floor. It's a grenade launcher. Across from Max's there's 2 lines of troops. I get some with my first shot but not enough and they swarm me. The grenade launcher isn't good for up close combat and I lose it. I did leave an AK-47 where I got the grenade launcher and it helps me take out a few more. Then I take down the last few with one of their batons. One last mission. Now that we have them all, the corporation is sending over a major attack force to reclaim it. The other agents will cover me as I go around annihilating the remaining corporation-owned shops. I meet up with the others and pick up a Molotov. The first target is Rocket Burger. I end up setting myself on fire throwing it too close to the building. It also killed the guys with me. I go get another and blow it up properly. I head back for another where there's more agents waiting. Next is Clothes Pour Homme, the clothes shop using child labour. It's seconds away. Boom, done. Now it's Sister Shop, Clothes Pour Femme. It's right across from Pour Homme. Boom, done. Next is the bank. Destroyed. Now the antique shop which traffics in stolen property. Gone. Then we're finally dealing with West Coast drugs. Obliterated. Finally there's the government office. For this one I have a rocket launcher. Fucking dead. We've driven the corporation out of this sector and instigated the citywide riot. The state of emergency has been declared. We get footage of a news report on the liberation of the mall along with a big level liberated on the screen for a split second before it pushed me back to the menu. For completing the mall in Revolution I've unlocked Spanky, or Hector Soldado. He was once a gang member, but he now works with Freedom after the corporation allowed its death squads and gangs to overrun his home and reduce it to a war zone. Spanky was clearly the character they intended to hook a general audience with, considering he's the character in the box art of both games. This was back in the early 2000s when all kids wanted to pretend to be gangsters, so it's interesting that he isn't available from the start. I also believe that if this game were released later on in the year, after Grand Theft Auto Vice City was released, Roy would have probably been the mascot since he looks just like Tommy Vercetti, but with a red shirt. Well, time to liberate Chinatown. Right behind where we start there's a Freedom agent. He fills me in on the 2 local gangs, the Third Street Killers who are running an extortion racket and the Jade Hill Boys. The plan is to stop the killers to win the general public over to Freedom. They're about to attack Ms. Grant at the pawn shop for not paying them, so I'm going to go help her out. I pick up a baseball bat and take so long taking out gang members she gets killed before I get anywhere near her. Good start. Next time I just run straight for her. She gives me a pistol to fend off the killers with. I save her and talk to the agent nearby. I learn that the guy I got the first mission from is named Max. I have to steal a crate from one of the corporation's pharmaceutical shipments right behind Beer Hut. Apparently I missed the behind part because I then started smashing up Beer Hut's windows. The crate is in the alley behind it. Chinatown has more horizontal space than the mall, so it's quite a trek back. Once it's delivered I talk to him again. Freedom's chemists are checking out the crate, so I have to meet up with an informant behind the bank. I arrive behind the bank where there's a member of the killers who sets off a smoke bomb and gets me surrounded by police. Instead of just running, I die trying to fight them off. Rather than retrying that mission, I go back to Max since I load right in front of him. The killers have taken the owner of the fireworks shop and I have to get him back before they hand him over to their boss. The arrow confuses me for a bit and I get to him just as he's being put into the record shop and I fail. Well, there's another guy with the blue icon handing out missions. Sergeant Buckland of the corporation's Enforcer Corps has been caught embezzling. If we protect him, he'll show us a way around their HQ security. I head over to Homeworld a little down the street. First I have to follow him through the alley so he can show me a way into HQ, but they predicted Buckland would do that and are waiting for us. I just have to run and escort Buckland back to our safe house, which is near the spawn point for this level. With him saved, I find the 4th mission giver with a green icon above his head. Freedom's leader is giving a speech at the temple and I have to keep him safe from the corporation. The leader is near where Max usually is. I also learn from the leader that the green icon man is named Trang. I keep the leader safe while he slowly inches towards the temple. Once he's inside, I thankfully don't have to keep anyone out. Since I'm by the antique shop again, I try the informant mission from Yellow Icon Man again. This time I don't try to fight off the ambush, I just run back to pass the mission. I then get another mission from Yellow Icon Man. The crate I got earlier contained a gene-altering drug. It was also addressed to a Dr. Hunter who was responsible for some chemical weapons atrocity the year before. My mission is to track down one of his lab assistants, see if I can get any good info. He's not far away and I give him a good whack, activating all the police I didn't notice were stood around him. He runs off, but while chasing him down I discover that while running, Spanky can perform a spin dash. He keeps trying to run, but I defeat him with a dustbin and take his research report. I then hand it over to finish the mission. The drug is made to modify physique and behaviour. Chinatown has their own West Coast Drugs which is fronting the research facility. I just have to take out the guards there and wait. And what better way to take out guards than to come bowling up to them holding a bench above my head. It works though. Next I've got to meet the contact behind the Chinatown Auto Shack. He gives me some Molotovs and I torch Westco. Next I head back to Trang. He lets me know that Freedom's leader's name is Marcus Washington. Remember how I was glad I didn't have to protect the temple entrance? Well, this is a little better. Marcus is standing out in the open giving his speech while I have to protect him. Yeah, this is easier than protecting the entrance because there isn't an insta-fail condition. You can actually take a couple hits. The police show up and start beating the civilians listening to the speech, but that just leaves them open for me to mow them down with the AK-47 left for me. And when I run out of ammo I can take their pistols. Then he goes inside and now I have to cover the entrance. And they barge their way in seconds. Fuck these missions. Well, Yellow Icon Man is gone for now, which means Trang is the nearest, so I'm having another go. This time I save the AK-47 for when I have to cover the entrance. It makes the mission trivial. In that time Max escaped and I have to return to Trang. That's all the missions he has for now, so back to Max and I finally save that fireworks shop owner and deliver him to the safe house. The public are beginning to recognise Freedom now. I go back to Max for some bad news. The killers have taken over our safe house. I've got 3 dudes to back up and set off to kick them out. I say set off, we start right next to it. We baseball our way through, but I'm the only survivor. Tragically, the last killer guns down my last agent seconds before I deal with him. Well, that's how it looked. More emerged from the safe house and my last guy survived. He doesn't give a fuck about any shotgun blast to the chest. He even helps me take out the real last guy. Sadly, with the safe house free, I can't keep him around after heading back to Max. Max's missions are also done for now, leaving just Blue Icon Man. He's been chatting with Buckland, who revealed that there's a European banker in town to help the corporation expand outside the US. He's waiting in the car park for his transport to the airport. Instead he gets his security wiped out and his head caved in. Next he tells me my next target is the bank. I'll meet up with a team at the gun shop and they'll drill through the shop Gantt cable into the bank vault. I get my team, but I spend too long fighting every police officer on the way, which gets one killed, failing the mission. On my second go I shoot them all down, but one just drops dead off screen. Then I accidentally kill them all myself. But on my 4th try I get them all in there in one piece. Now I just have to go around the front of the shop and oh shit. The very first guy that shows up walks right on in and fails me the mission. 5th time I have a gun and they aren't getting in this time. The team leave the bank with an accounts disc and I just have to get them back to base, but I get caught on a bench and die on the way back. I respawn next to a purple icon man stood where Max used to be, so fuck it, the bank can wait. Remember Gibson, the demolitions expert from the mall? Well, he's just arrived in Chinatown and I have to escort him from the west gate to the safe house. Despite having a gun, he doesn't try to defend himself and gets beaten to death. Fine, I'll try the bank again. Well, attempt 7 and I finally get to the safe house and no benches stand in my way while I'm at it. Seb 1 still dies and I have to reclaim the disc he was carrying. I get it and hand it over to Blue Icon Man. Now we need to cover our tracks, so we're blowing up the bank. I pick up the bomb in front of the fireworks shop and hold it high above my head for everyone to see. When the game tells me to put it down, I forget how to for a second and get my stupid ass killed. Let's try escorting Gibson again. I get into the safe house and just look at this. I've got a stick, you've got a gun. Use it, you stupid wanker. Or at least if I'm trying to keep you alive, maybe you can return the favour? You're at the door, don't just stand there. Gibson, I'm rapidly losing my respect for you. The fuck did I let you down? He let us down. They could at least have the good manners to die where I can see him. All these failed attempts leave me with less health too, by the way. Thanks for letting me die again, Gibson. You're a pal. Different route? No. Finally, now get your ass in there. That's 8 attempts, the most for any mission so far. Now Purple Icon Man wants me to get Gibson a security pass. He doesn't deserve one. There's a foreign delegate at the bank with a pass. Good thing I failed to blow up the bank then. Of course right now I can't do anything first try anymore, so he survives a shotgun shot and hides at the bank. Gibson can wait a bit longer because Yellow Icon Man is back in Trang's old spot. He's worried because one of the best agents, Mr. Church, hasn't returned from a meeting with an informant. He was last seen near Chinatown's Blossoms. It's just around the corner and I find him with almost no health left. He says it's a trap and to leave him. I turn around and there's like 15 troops with shotguns. I should have got their bullets long enough to get back and finish the mission. He doesn't ask about church, by the way. But when I talk to him again, he says that 2 more agents have been killed. He suspects another agent named Bishop is a traitor and sends me out to find proof. I follow Bishop to the laundry where he's meeting a load of corporation execs. I beat them down but narrowly miss Bishop, who escapes into a shop. Second time I get a bit too ahead of myself and kill the contact before Bishop even gets there, preventing me from proving his betrayal. I then let out my frustrations. I leave Bishop to his own devices for now and try blowing up the bank again. This time I fuck up by throwing the bomb instead of dropping it, breaking it. Next time a heroic evil police officer swats it out of my hand and gets the job done better than I ever could. That's 30% of this level done. Right, let's try dealing with Bishop again. This time Bishop just slowly walks away and I kill him, but then I get killed by an uppercut to the back. What about Gibson's security pass? This time the delegate doesn't try to survive and I get that pass. Now I have to escort Gibson, again, to the hotel that the corporation are having a secret conference with their European partners in. Because that pass I went through the effort to get might not work, I have to create a diversion to get Gibson inside. Fine, come on Gibson, try not to let yourself die this time. Gibson, what did I say? Hang on, now you decided to fight back, with your bare fists against the men with shotguns? You know, I'm glad Greg got blown off this time. That's 3 deaths in under 2 minutes, Gibson. Stop trying to pick fights and just get in there. Surely at this point it'd be more productive if I just went in there myself, even with the 6 officers chasing me. Finally he's going in. No, don't walk out. Oh, you've set the bomb that quickly? Alright. But no, Purple Icon Man, we do not make a good team. Let's get back to Bishop. Too early again. I stood there watching them for ages. I finally get him next time and I can put this ridiculous Bishop Gibson saga behind me. But thanks to Bishop, the corporation knows we have an operations room at the laundry. I've got to keep them out while Marcus goes to the temple for reinforcements. Not only do I have police and execs to deal with, but also members of the Jade Hill boys. While I'm doing this, Marcus has been captured. I take out everyone at the laundry but couldn't save Marcus from being taken to their headquarters. I do worse the next time. The time after that I'm killed. Next time I have a gun and I catch up with Marcus being chased off, but then he turns around and runs right into my bullets. I save him the 4th time though. At least Marcus can fight back competently. I drop him off at the safe house and go get my next mission. The corporation has raided the temple and cornered Marcus again. He gives me some tear gas and a grenade launcher to distract them with while Marcus and the others escape. Eventually Marcus does escape and I have to get him to safety. I drop him off at the safe house yet again. Yellow Icon Man is gone and Max is back but outside the temple now. He says that something is going down at the corporation HQ. There's a security agent outside coordinating activities. I have to steal his orders. Thing is, I get so bogged down by all the police trying to get me that he escapes before I get anywhere near him. I trap him in the corner and just look at this chaos. I somehow manage to kill him and all that and get the orders. I hand them over and in the next mission I learn that the corporation are about to unveil a new genetics program. One of Dr. Hunter's assistants is showing up in the car park under HQ. I just have to get his notes. Lucky for me I run right for him and his own security accidentally shoots him dead, leaving me to just get his notes and run. When I hand them over, Max says there's something up with the security guards. I assume he's not talking about the one that killed the guy they're protecting, but I was in and out so quick that I didn't get the chance to see any difference. The report reveals that the corporation is genetically modifying their shock troopers and are putting them into service. There's going to be a ceremony to introduce them outside their HQ. I have to kill the chief of this new division at the ceremony. I take an Uzi and get some backup. We run right over there where there's loads of troops. I use up my ammo and start making my way through the shotguns dropped by the ones I killed. The chief is killed, although I'm not sure which one the chief was. With that dealt with, Blue Icon Man is back. Aside from that one mission, we haven't had much to do with the Jade Hill boys. But now they've kidnapped one of our agents to ransom him to the corporation. I have to follow a group of them behind Beer Hut to find where our guy is being held. I tried for 2 seconds but one hit me so I killed them and failed the mission. Next time I do it properly. Yeah, just ignore the guy stalking you with a hatchet. They lead me to the car park where these execs shoot them dead and I get the blame. I didn't kill them. Next time I wait outside until they all get in. Then I find out the agent is being held in an alley behind the red brick factory. I free the agent but he gets killed seconds later. Well, Yellow Icon Man is nearby and back in his old spot. They want to replicate the Enforcer's newest assault rifle. So I go up to the gun shop, kill a group of them and take a crate containing one. I then simply haul it back. I'm told the guns have been modified to fire larger bullets at faster rates. Thanks to a waitress at Rocket Burger, we know one Enforcer is going to pick up his after work. So I've got to follow him. He doesn't see the man chasing with a bench as suspicious, but then I don't know what I'm doing here, I just kill him before he leads me to the guns. Next time I actually pay attention and follow him to the building. Once he comes out I kill him and report back. Now we know who's modifying the guns, I have to shut down the supply. There's a shipment in the alley behind Auto Shack. Said alley has a flamethrower in it which should make this easy, but it gets used up on my attackers. Once they're all out of the way, I just pick up each of the crates and smash them against the walls. Once I report back, Yellow Icon Man leaves again. Time to try saving that agent from the Jade Hill boys again. I think I might have it this time, but I hear one gunshot off screen and he's dead again. Next time I once again get blamed for the execs killing the gang. For my 6th try, I run in after I get the prompt to find the agent to kill the execs so they can't chase me down and ruin everything again. This makes him last longer, but he still gets killed when we're halfway to the safe house. 7th attempt is unsuccessful too. This time I didn't hear a gunshot, he was just dead. But on my 8th try I finally pull it off and shove the agent back to the safe house. Max is back around the corner in his original position, so let's talk to him. One of our informants has important news. He's going to leave the HQ and I have to pretend to mug him, not kill him, for what he's carrying. I catch up to him and punch him, only to be told off because he hasn't entered HQ yet. Okay, I know you said when he leaves, but you never said anything about following him to HQ either. Since I'm right in front of Blue Icon Man, I go to him instead. The corporation doesn't know I saved the agent, yet there are 5 corporate agents trying to find out who did. All I have to do is walk around the alley killing the 5 agents. Easy. But backup was called with just 1 agent left. The last one isn't too far away, and I report back. Time to take on the Jade Hill boys. They think they're going to kidnap Marcus at Blossoms, instead I show up to kill them all. They aren't a problem at all, there's a few ways but they go down easy. Now for that informant, I actually let him into the HQ this time. He leaves, I beat through his security and give him a single kick for those documents. Yeah, that's a convincing mugging. The documents reveal the corporation's secret service is sweeping the area looking for freedom sympathisers. We've evacuated everyone but Mr. Clark from the coffee shop. When I run over there, he's already being shot repeatedly in the face. I interrupt and Mr. Clark runs off. Once I deal with everyone in front of his shop, I get informed he got himself killed somewhere else. I catch up with him next time and get him to the safe house. While I was helping Clark, the corporation arrested a civilian and planned to publicly execute her for supporting us. I find them escorting her to the temple and fail to save her. It turns out a good strategy when unarmed against the group is to keep grabbing them. The rest kept stopping everything when just one of them got grabbed. It solved the issue of the woman gunman shooting her to death while I was busy with the others. With her free, I take her to the safe house at the laundry, I guess our normal one I filled up. Now the corporation is doing a sweep for our safe house. There's news left around the back for me to hold off the 3 death squads with. The first wave isn't too bad, but I use up my ammo. Then the guys with tear gas show up and distract me long enough to let one in. Second time, rather than use the Uzi, I get one of the enemy shotguns and take out the first wave with that. Then use the Uzi on the second wave, and that's it. I guess 2 of the squads must show up really close together. Max has left again and Purple Icon Man is in his spot. Now the corporation is so desperate they've outlawed public gatherings. The temple has been shut down and prisoners are held in the courtyard. One of those prisoners is one of our agents and I have to get him out. I charge right in there, use the grab strategy, and our guy takes way too long to realise he's free. I then drop him off at the laundry. One of the temple escapees has some useful information. I have to pick him up at Homeworld and bring him to the safe house. Said informant says the corporation has been testing a new psychoactive drug, but that's all he'll tell me until he's safe. I get into the safe house, but then he starts attacking me, leaving me with no choice but to kill him. I get an explanation soon after. Those nanotech chips we saw from the mall have a psychoactive control component and it looks like they got one into the informant. Now there are civilians going berserk outside the bank. As I get closer to the bank, I'm informed there's a subsonic transmission near me that is the cause of civilians going mental. I just have to find the transmitter and bring it back to base. Well, that doctor running by with an armed guard and the mission marker pointing right at him might be a clue. I kill him for a data disk and hand it over. 3 doctors working for Hunter have been seen going towards the temple square. They're involved with all this, so I attack them. I kill one, and as I'm chasing another, I get a message saying that they tracked the signal to the temple, so it needs to be destroyed. I meet Gomez at the pawn shop, who hands me a rocket launcher. My first shot gets blocked by 2 officers, but the second destroys the temple, much to Purple Icon Man's sadness. Max is back again and outside the temple. A hacker has discovered the possibility that the corporation has been putting illegal decoding devices to destroy all digital privacy. It's kinda cute that this 2002 game thought it would take until 2035 for our digital privacy to be under threat. I go over to the game shop joypad and smash a window to get one of those new PCs. Did I say smash a window? I meant use one of my remaining rockets to blow it the fuck up and pull a perfectly intact PC out of its fiery ruins. This better be worth it because I abandoned the rocket launcher with 2 shots left to carry this. I hand it over to Max and talk to him again. Turns out the hacker was right and the corporation is spying on everyone through their computers. My next aim is to get an access code to the mainframe that controls their bugging system. I head over to TJ Sport to find one of their top PC technicians, running around with about 15 guards. I throw a bench at him and then chase him down and kill him for another data disk. I hand it over to Max, which leads to the next mission. The hackers have figured out how to use the corporation's bug against them to crash their mainframe. I have to escort the hacker to multiple public payphones to use the bug. We get attacked at the first phone and by the time he's done, the hacker lost 3/4 of his health. I block most of the shotgun shots with my body while he works on the second phone, but he gets finished off with a final whack just as he reaches the third. Trang's back in Blue Icon Man's old spot and since I'm nearby I let Max wait on that whole hacker thing. The Killers and Jade Hill boys are about to join forces against Freedom. That would be dangerous, so first I go to Magruder's and kill a group of killers, then I go to the alley behind to get the attention of some Jade Hill boys. I lead them back to where I killed the killers and kill them too to make it like a fight broke out between the two gangs, hindering any forced joining. But we only delayed it a bit. The leader of the killers is meeting with Jade Hill at the record shop to discuss their truce. I have to kill the Jade Hill members before they arrive to make it look like a snub. I catch them outside the bank and take them all out, most likely angering the killers. Since I completed this mission so close to Max, it's time to try helping the hacker again. I get into all 4 phones safe and sound and just narrowly help him escape back to Max. That's not all our hackers have done. They made a slight change to some of the chief exec's travel itinerary. They sent him to the opposite gate without much security, so I pick up a bench, head over to the east gate and take him out with it. That was it yet again for Max. Back to Trang. He says the Jade Hill boys want to talk peace with us. I have to meet up with their leader who claims she has a job for us. If I do it, they'll work with us. I meet up with her in the alleys and she tells me that it's just the killers who are with the corporation. They just want to protect their neighbourhood. They'll help free them if I wipe out the killers. She gives me an Uzi to take down their hideout at the record shop with. I take the ones outside down, but that just attracts more. The all grab and pummel method still works, but I go with using a hatchet instead. With them gone, I am told that Jade Hill left me some petrol bombs outside Beer Hut. I take out the shop and it's mission completed. They aren't done yet though, as they've retaliated hard against Jade Hill. I need to go over there and see if I can help. I find 5 of them with low health and they all want to join me in fighting back. I run back out into the main street and grab pummel my way through them until I get a shotgun and take them out in seconds. It's bye to Trang again and Max returns to the starting point. An informant has given us a vague warning about the corporation starting something very big. He doesn't know what it is, but one of Hunter's doctors is heading for the corporation's main building. I still had the shotgun from the last mission, so I intercept him and kill him for another data disk which I give to an agent at the safe house for analysis. What we learn from it is that they've boosted the power of the nanotech chip and are transmitting a signal so strong it can affect the entire city from one transmitter. I have to meet a hacker at Rocket Burger and protect him until he detects it. He runs around the city being targeted by psychotic civilians. Although the most damage he suffers is from me blowing up the petrol lorry near him and then catching him with the spread from my shotgun. This means that as soon as he pinpoints where the transmission is coming from, he's beaten to death in seconds. I'm much safer with him next time and we manage to make it back to base. The transmitter has a huge security force defending it and I'm going to act as bait to lead them into a trap. I run up to their HQ to grab their attention and then lead them all the way to the laundry where backup is waiting to gun them down. Now to deal with that transmitter. The building is too big for a single bomb. Instead we're going to set off a chain reaction in that car park behind it. The bomb will be planted by Gibson. Aww. I've got to take out security at said car park first before Gibson gets there. Watch him have evolved into an Olympic sprinter in his time off just so he can charge right in before me and get shot. I wrote that last sentence not remembering every detail of the game months later, but guess what actually happened? Just passing by him while he was waiting, he took that as a signal to run ahead. Next time I get there without going near Gibson and activating him and grab pummel through security, he plants the bomb and I escort him back to the safe house. Only 1 death altogether this time for Gibson. He's leveled up a bit. Blue Icon Man returns for the final mission in Chinatown. The corporation has triggered the transmission and sent citizens insane. I have to weaken the support at the front of the corporation HQ while Gibson triggers that bomb. He gives me an assortment of weapons and I take the flamethrower. I head towards the building, torching security and the poor mind-controlled civilians trying to attack me. Once I run low, I go back and get the grenade launcher. It helps me in an unexpected way. I knock my own house to the ground with one of the grenades. While I'm laid out, security with shotguns keep firing and clear out a load of the rioters surrounding me. I get bored of waiting for Gibson and blow up the building myself, liberating Chinatown from the corporation. Half the city has been taken from their control now. We get another news report showing the corporation businesses going up in flames and it's back to the menu. Completing Chinatown in Revolution unlocks Freak. Ricky Fang was in high school when his parents were arrested as political dissidents. He never saw them again and he went into hiding before being discovered by Freedom. He's one of Freedom's hackers, having taught himself while his dad was running a PC repair shop. Of all the characters in this game, Ricky was the one I completely forgot about before coming back to write this. Of course, freeing Chinatown also unlocked the east side stage for this mode. Right away as I start, there's a man with the yellow icon to my right. Freedom has been contacted by a Mr. Adams who has been accused of crimes against the state. The corporation have already tried to kill him once and if we keep him safe, he'll give us some useful information. He's at the theatre, which is just up the street and around the corner. When I get to him, I don't notice the marker change direction and keep waiting for him to talk to me. This gets him shot to death in seconds. A little embarrassing. I failed to save him the second time too. For some reason I wait for the police to turn up and then try to fight them off. Third time I try to fight them off on the way, but I take too long to reach Mr. Adams and he's killed again. Fourth attempt is a repeat of the second, as is the fifth. If only there was a really good strategy for escort missions, one I used a lot in just the previous level that I was using less than 20 minutes earlier. On my 6th try I finally remember it. I just belt it across town and ignore the gunshots, and what do you know, Mr. Adams is delivered alive to our safe house. Right outside this safe house is a red icon man. His name is Hector and he's Freedom's main man on the east side. After praising Freak for Spanky's efforts in Chinatown, he lets me know a corporation agent has been escorted from the south gate near East Side's Auto Shack. I just managed to kill him inches before I can escape and get the documents Hector wanted. I barely managed to get them back to him with the smallest possible amount of health. The document says there's a corporation meeting happening at the theatre. I need to meet Cole, another agent, and help him get inside to see what's going on. I meet Cole, walk across the road, and he's shot dead on the spot. Since he's closer, I check in on Yellow Icon Man. Turns out after we saved Mr. Adams, they went after his wife. Her assassins are hanging out at Scooter's bar, and since only they know where Mrs. Adams is, I have to let them lead me to her. They discover her outside Beer Hut, where I failed to save her because I accidentally joined the assassins in shooting her. Next time I just hold a rod instead of a pistol, but rather than the game register that they've reached her, the assassins go for me instead. Even though I was standing right next to her, killing an assassin in self-defense failed the mission. Third time I just hang a little further back so they notice her, but even that tiny distance between us doesn't leave enough time to stop her getting punched to death. I just manage it next time and let her rejoin her husband in the safe house. Now let's try getting Cole in that theatre again. He died even quicker that time. Not even bringing an M16 for the next try kept him alive. But then, the light bulb goes off above my head. What if I kill the guards before I get Cole? Well, more came out afterwards, but I managed to shoot them all first this time and get him in. That's that mission done. Back to Yellow Icon Man. There's a special assassination squad working in the bail bonds office. We need to know who's on their hit list. A sergeant is at TJ Sports. I run right in there, kill the sergeant despite the injuries I'm sustaining, and take his list. I then just have to drop it off at the safe house and report back. The assassination squad's leader is at the bus depot, that's right across the road. This is painful to watch. First his buddies shoot him to the ground, but they stun me long enough for him to get up and run. Then after chasing him to the other side of the map, I finally kill him only to die the very next second before I can end the mission. I kill him again next time and actually make it back. Yellow Icon Man decides that maybe just blowing up the Death Squad's base is a good way to deal with them. I get a grenade from an agent near the safe house, run down the street and blow up the bail bonds office. That's all it takes. And right next to that is this map's Blue Icon Man. He lets me know that the Muerte 13 gang have a list of our safe houses and are planning to sell it to the corporation. So I run right over to that petrol station, grab and pummel the first guy I can, who luckily enough turned out to be the one with the list, and hand it over. For my next mission, the guy who tipped us off about Muerte 13 has been found out and they want him dead. I run over to the video shop to meet him, turn around, get knocked on my ass, watch him quickly lose health and pull out my most desperate grab pummel spam so far. Sadly, the very last one killed him, but an upside is that I got a cleaver right after. I'm next to Hector, so I start his next mission. Cole's reported that all the delegates are in theatre. First I have to go with Cole and kill the guards in front of the theatre. Instead I pick up the bomb and throw it at the theatre, breaking it. Oops. Rather than go back to Hector, there's a green icon man closer. There's a corporation official named Pierce whose daughter has a death warrant on her for supporting freedom. If I save the both of them, we'll get some inside information. He's being escorted to the north gate, but I cut off his escort and in return they just shoot him dead. I'm really bad at this rescue thing. Back to Hector's mission. I don't even bother with the guards, I just drop the bomb by the front door and run for Scooter's bar. Then a car explodes off screen and Cole dies. Come on Cole, don't be another Gibson. Next I try gunning the guards down from a distance. Even that's a pain though since Cole is just standing in the middle of them for some reason. I drop the bomb and it breaks for no reason. Next time, it doesn't break. I make it to Scooter's bar, the theatre explodes, killing the delegates, and I report back to Hector. That's all from him for now, so I move on to the green icon man and save Pierce with a hatchet, dropping him off at the safe house. Now for his daughter, as Pierce refuses to help until she's safe. She's on the Magruder's, surrounded by 3 gunmen. Grab and pummel keeps her safe and I can reunite her with her dad. Pierce gives Freedom's intelligence department loads of info, but now he wants one more favour. He wants to kill the executive who ordered the hit on his daughter. I pick him up from the safe house and take him to Magruder's. I kill the guards while he runs off screen and kills the exec, but while taking him to his daughter, he's killed on the way. Second try, I get him to his daughter at this gate and they enter this building so Freedom can arrange their escape. Then one lone arsehole comes running in and shoots his daughter dead at the very last possible second. Third time, his daughter is in view, but he isn't and he dies somewhere. Fourth time, I use the grab and pummel as they're entering the building, allowing them to escape from the corporation's reach. Right, back to Blue Icon Man and saving that informant. Grab and pummel still works wonders, as do hatchets. Although I do feel bad accidentally decapitating that civilian while swinging at the gang member. It ends up being a pretty long fight, but eventually the informant is safe. Now it's revenge time against Muerte 13. Some of the gang is coming through the north gate with a map of gang hideouts. With the hatchet I very easily take out the one with the map. It shows that their main hideout is El Coco's. I get some grenades outside the coffee shop and blow El Coco's to hell. When I get back we have another gang to deal with. It's the Skins, who are causing trouble for locals. They're going after the record shop, so I have to protect its owner. I meet up with the owner and get to grab pummeling. It doesn't work this time though, and I turn the camera to see that he was being beaten to death the whole time. This guy can't take a hit. I get sidetracked fighting one guy for a second and he's already dead. Things go a little better the third time, but a bullet flies in from off screen and ends him. That's when I discover that the blue icon man has been leaving me AK-47s I just didn't notice this entire time. The skins go down easy this time, but the mission doesn't progress. I look ahead and find that one gang member's AI must have broken or something because he's running in circles, making it easy for me to take him down and finish the mission. There's now a purple icon man by the record shop, so let's talk to him. He knows that the corporation are planning something against us, but he doesn't know exactly what. There's a large security force outside Beer Hut though, and a Department of Security official inside. I stand outside Beer Hut, wait for him to emerge, and cleave him to death for his documents. I hand him over to one of our agents and return to Purple Icon Man. We learn that the corporation is definitely planning an attack on us, and I'm sent over to Candy Girl. The agent there reveals that the corporation has taken civilians hostage and will execute them unless freedom gives them the location of their east side base. Instead, I heroically take on the firing squad at the bus depot and heroically get all civilians killed. Next time I actually notice the Uzi left for me at Candy Girl, but I still fail to save anyone. Same thing next time. Guess what actually works? That's right, grab and pummel keeps most of the gunmen in place while civilians run and free themselves. The corporation aren't giving up that easily though, and they've deployed some new shock troops who are killing everyone in their way trying to find us. I see them running by a while later and I use a combination of guns and grab and pummel to sort them out. It lasts a while and in the end I take too many little hits that add up and kill me. Get them next time though. This whole fire on everyone strategy turns out to not be the best way to keep friends, and the corporation has lost a lot of support. Back to Yellow Icon Man, who informs me that blowing up the Chinatown bank has made the other banks vulnerable due to the increased traffic. I have to escort our hacker, Edison, to the ATM so he can upload a virus he made that will disable the bank's alarm systems. Despite both of us taking a few bullets at the ATM, he uploads a virus and I drop him off at the safe house. Well, I stand at the safe house for a bit wondering where he went before I'm informed he died somewhere. Second try I get killed while he's uploading the virus. Third time he stands there inches from the safe house and lets his head get blasted off his shoulders. Then I die at the ATM again. I'm sensing a pattern. Fifth time he actually stays right behind me so I can deliver him to safety. Hector's back so I talk to him again. The military has arrived at the east side along with the corporation executive giving them orders. They're on standby over at Prism, the auto dealership. I take out everyone in seconds with a shotgun and claim the exec's mission briefing. After handing it over to Hector, we find the military was sent to check out the city before the corporation's chief operations officer arrives. Cole's gonna plant a bomb on his route and I need to make sure he stays not dead, but seriously? We're taking Cole and giving him Gibson's job? If I'm stuck on this for an hour, Hector, I'll never forgive you. I clear out the remaining guards from under the rail bridge so Cole can get in there and start with the bomb. And he's gunned down seconds later. This isn't a good sign, Hector. Second time Cole plants the bomb, but while I'm trying to take out the men shooting at him, he stands right behind and lets himself get picked off. Well, you know what? Screw him for now. What's Yellow Icon Man wanting? Some of our agents managed to break into the bank to steal some files, but despite the security system being shut off, they've still wound up surrounded. He gives me an AK-47 and I quickly take out everyone in front of the bank, but then back up her eyes and I spend quite a while grab and pummeling. Eventually I'm told everyone got out with the information and I just run for the safe house and trust the agents are smarter than Cole. They are, and they're also ridiculously fast. They could have just outrun security's bullets. Yellow Icon Man leaves, so I go to Blue Icon Man. More skins have set up a blockade under the rail bridge to try to keep control of their part of town. I head over there to beat them with a sign, upgrade to a bat, and then finally upgrade to a hatchet. This one was very easy, but when I get back I'm told that the skins are now meeting with the corporation to discuss supplying weapons. Maybe before trying to with the corporation, they should have looked into what happened to the mall rats and the killers. I run over to Candy Girl and take out both groups. Now let's see if I can keep Cole's useless arse alive this time. Nope. Back to Blue Icon Man. Skins are massing at the pizza place, clearly planning to attack us. He gives me a bat and I run over there and take them out. More keep coming out of the building, but they're easily dealt with. This is where I find that an NPC's decapitated head can be picked up and used to beat others with. Once that plan is foiled, it's call time. The stupid fucker still looks at me surrounded after planting the bomb and queues up behind me waiting for death. Next time he just doesn't get shot as much and I finally get him back safe. And after all that, the corporation predicted we might plant that bomb and send a bomb squad in to deal with it. I dash to the other side of town, take out the bomb squad and claim one of their smart cards to hand over to Hector. The target is going to arrive soon, so we're ready to set off that bomb. I just have to be nearby to take out any survivors. Thing is, the operations officer is right across the road when I start the mission, so instead I run up to him and kill him before he even gets near the bomb, so all that messing about with Cole wasn't even needed. I do hope someone shifted the bomb after this though. The corporation is now converting a building for a secret project. The construction workers have entered through the south gate. I run up and shoot the first one I see to get the building plans. I ignore the order to kill the other construction worker and skip right to trying to give Hector the plans. This gives him the time to escape. If it looks like I've been making a lot of stupid mistakes, it'll be because I've been playing nearly 8.5 hours straight with few breaks. Basically everything from the beginning of this video to completing Revolution mode was done that same day back in August I think. Next time I do it right, not much else to say, it's a very simple mission. Hector gets the plans and tells me they've discovered that Dr. Hunter is visiting Eastside's Westcourt. A bomb's been planted with the medical crates, I just have to distract the guards so they don't discover it. Killing counts as distracting, right? Once they're down, I just have to run away before the bomb explodes. Dr. Hunter somehow survives a blast, so I give chase, enter a painfully long grapple struggle, and kill him with a kick to the head, finally removing one of our biggest threats. Can't get too happy just yet because Yellow Icon Man lets me know that our spy at the auto dealership has been grassed on. I simply go up to the dealership, make sure she starts following me, and rush for the safe house. For once I escort someone without letting them take a single bit of damage. I chat to Hector again. Dr. Hunter had a successor, Dr. Wilson. He was a defect, but after Hunter's death he's under heavy guard. They're escorting him to their HQ through the west gate. I just have to pretend to kidnap him. Seems easy, but one of his guards has a flamethrower. I focus on too many others before finally dealing with that one, so of course I don't survive much longer. Next time I grab that guy first and pinch his flamethrower. With Wilson saved, I deposit him to the safe house. Hector's gone again, so it's over to Yellow Icon Man. We've had even more corporation defectors giving us information. There's a big stash of cash held at the tax office. I have to lead a team waiting for me outside Candy Girl to get it. I pick up the guys, cross under the rail bridge and take out the guards. They go inside, come out with the cash, and we have a little stroll back to Candy Girl. I think ignoring the men shooting us will be fine, but the agent with the cash gets killed, so I have to go pick it up myself and hand it over to Yellow Icon Man. We have some more defectors to pretend to kidnap next. They're leaving Max's bistro with an armed escort. I just have to deal with the escort, without getting one of the defectors killed. Second time, grab and pummel. With two more defectors in there, that safe house must be a nightmare to live in. From one of them we learn that there's an extensive collection of records on our actions at the revenue office. We already have some guys headed down there, but I'm sent too with a rocket launcher. Can't steal that information, so I blow the building up. Nice quick 20-second mission there. Yellow Icon Man leaves and I accidentally fire a rocket onto the wall and just from my face. Back to Blue Icon Man. The skins are obsessively watching over a payphone phone outside the shop Big J. We want to know what they're up to, so we're sending Edison to plant a bug on said phone. I first have to take out the skins around it. I pick up Edison and he's killed seconds later by the police that have been following me since blowing up the revenue office. Next time he gets killed by the skins. Third time I try to kill the skins first but get killed by my rocket launcher. Fourth time I kill them. Now I can get Edison to that phone alive. After he's planted the bug, I get grabbed by more skins, which keeps Edison standing in place until he lets them kill him again. I get him back safe next time. This is what I meant about how much quicker it is to keep trying the same mission than in the Grand Theft Auto. They took 5 tries, but all that was only 4 minutes. Next I go back to Purple Icon Man. An agent, Price, is waiting for me outside the furniture shop. She's trying to get back to the safe house into the jazz club, but she feels she's being followed. I meet up with her and as soon as that dialogue box is closed, a hail of bullets flies in from our screen and destroys her before I can even react. Of course, I get the blame. Next time I start killing the corporation forces before I go and talk to her. It works, although she does still take quite a bit of damage. I drop off at the jazz club and start the next mission. Another agent is trying to get here with a report, but he also thinks he's being watched. I head over to the bank where he's waiting, but he drops dead as soon as he appears on screen. I still pick up his report though and take it back. After handing over the report and talking to him again, we find that someone talked. The corporation is going to raid the jazz club. I need to fend them off while everyone evacuates. He gives me an AK-47 for this, but it doesn't last long, so it's back to grab and pummel. After a while, Marcus and Price exit the safe house. I now have to escort them to Candy Girl. It goes smoothly, but that mission isn't done yet. I have to clear out the forces that are still surrounding the jazz club. Thankfully, I'm not alone in this. While I'm grab pummeling away, some freedom agents show up to help out, but at that point I just have too little health left and I get killed. The next time I manage to conserve some more health and take out most of the guys with guns first so they can't keep chipping away at my health from a distance. That and taking their guns helps me wipe them all out. That's all for Purple Icon Man, so it's back to Blue Icon Man. The corporation want to meet with the skins at the bank. I'm going to take out the skins before they arrive at the bank and Ko is going to pose as one of them to find out what the meeting is about. The group is only across the road. I grab the guy with the shotgun to make him drop it and then quickly wipe them all out with it. Next is meeting Cole at the auto dealership. I just have to keep an eye on him on his way to the bank. Once he gets there he runs away, having been found out. It's an easy time escorting him back to the safe house for once, is what I was thinking considering he was right behind me most of the time. But when I got there he was nowhere to be seen and died a little later. It's my fault for expecting an easy time babysitting Cole. On my second go he actually makes it back without taking any damage. That's impressive for Cole. Now the Skins and Corporation having another go at a meeting, but this time at the petrol station. We're just going to blow the place up and take them all out at once. I just have to escort an explosives expert there. The expert is just right across the road from the petrol station and after I talk to him, he runs right in. Of course, you've seen how my attempts at keeping people alive go, so you can probably guess he doesn't survive first time. Second time I fall back once again on the grab and pummel to kill time while he's in there. A little later he comes out and I take him back to the safe house. When I report back I learn that the Skins leaders are already at the station. I need to wait for the corporation to arrive before destroying the building. There's 3 Molotovs outside the building, boom, done. After all this, the gang's now out of control, but there's a way to deal with that. The Skins are gathered at the dealership, I just have to get Muerte 13 over there too. Except I don't do that, I just walk up there and take them all out single-handedly. Hector's the only one left giving missions now, so I go over to him. He's finally worked out what the blueprints I stole were for. The corporation built a genetics lab in their east side headquarters that they've been using to strengthen their shock troops. I have to attack the guards at one of the gates so Hector can plan an attack on the lab. I start by gunning down the ones right outside the gate, then turn my attention to those a little further out. At the end of the mission I'm told they were drawn away. Nah, I killed them all. Now he wants me to get rid of the guards at the HQ gate so we can get some bomb experts in there. Simple. Once the experts go in, I just have to return to Hector. He says that the demolitions team planted most of the bombs but were spotted and driven out. There's only one survivor that I need to save. I take down all the guards outside HQ and the survivor comes out. There was a huge group of guards further up the road and he goes from full health to dead in 2 seconds. Whenever I think I've cleared that group of guards ahead of time, there's always another. No interesting failures this time, so I'll just say I get back to the safe house on my 5th try. Now the corporation have found out the base from a captured Freedom operative and are going to try raiding us. Compared to other building protecting missions, this one went smoothly at first. Took out the first lot with an AK-47, picked up one of their M16s for the next, and then good old grab and pummel. But I must have missed one because towards the end the game said one got in. I die on my 3rd try and my 5th. It was painful dying on my 6th try. I lasted so long and took out so many, but they just kept coming. But I just managed it on the 7th. Hector manages to destroy all the evidence the corporation can use against us, but we still lost the safe house. Yellow Icon Man returns for East Side's final mission. There's nothing left to lose in this part of the city, so it's time for a last assault on the corporation HQ. Everyone left is going to be charging on the HQ and I'm on my way too. I meet up at Candy Girl and we run over. There's a rocket launcher outside the HQ that I used to destroy the building, winning us the East Side. Freedom now owns 3/4 of the city. Now it's time for Operation Liberty, the final assault on the corporation. Completing East Side in Revolution mode unlocks the final character. Edward Raymonds, or the Bull, was in the armed forces before the corporation takeover. He was in the Army's football team and eventually got recruited to play professionally, but he got framed for illegal drug use after refusing to go along with the corporation's match fixing. After 5 years in prison, leaving him with no life and no future, he trains for new Freedom recruits. Now for the final Revolution level, Corporation Central. Right in front of me where I start is a guy named Shepard. For the first mission, I have to escort 2 strike teams to their safe houses in the south side of the area. This part is very simple. I just walk strike team 1 down the road to the toy shop, which will be one of the safe houses. After hanging around and taking care of the nearby troops first, I pick up strike team 2 and lead to the next safe house inside the Rocket Burger. When I report back to Shepard, he moves up to the toy shop. For my next mission, I have to escort a representative to the museum so we can deliver an ultimatum to the corporation. Either democratic elections are held immediately, or we fuck them up. Shepard knows they won't agree to it, but we're at least giving them the chance. The museum is just past the Rocket Burger. I run up waving a stick in the air and beat all the guards down. The guy runs in and comes out seconds later, having already given the offer, then it's just returning him to the safe house. Next up, I have to torch 3 assault vehicles parked near the south sector of the city. Part of the ultimatum included that all assault vehicles be kept away from civilian territory and on corporation property. Around the corner there's an agent giving me petrol bombs. The first is parked near Rocket Burger, the second near I started, and the last is right next to the toy shop. I mess up though and miss a couple throws, using up all the bombs. I get it done right next time. Also, look how close I am to dying before finishing the mission and recovering health. The corporation has now started doing house-to-house sweeps looking for Freedom supporters. If any civilian is even suspected of harbouring an agent, they'll be executed on the spot. I run down to the house across from Rocket Burger and cave in some skulls with a dustbin. When they're dealt with, I pick up one of their shotguns and gun down the second lot near the starting point. I return to Shepard, who now wants to get the operatives the troops are searching for to safety. Both of them are seconds away from the toy shop. When I get them both, I take them down to Rocket Burger, where one gets killed right outside the door. Get them there next time. I should have stayed there too, because someone took off the corporation to the Rocket Burger safe house and they sent a squad over. He gives me a gun and there are agents waiting outside to help me. The first lot get taken out easy, but I turn around for a second and turn back to see all but 2 of my backup get gunned down. When the last lot are taken down, I'm warned there's another coming with a heavy weapon. A man appears with a minigun and takes out the last of my backup. I just have to grab him once to get that minigun off him and use it on him, saving the safe house. That's it for Shepard for now. There's a green icon man across from Rocket Burger. He wants me to follow a corporate exec to find out where an emergency meeting of the corporation's top executives will be held. I also can't let him know he's being followed, and I know for a fact that the best way to blend in is to be 7 feet tall in an orange prison uniform holding a giant minigun in the air with one arm. I mean, be honest, would you want to be the person to question that man? The exec makes a few stops along the way, but eventually stays at the Park Hotel. I then take out the guards outside and report back. Now I have to clear the area outside the hotel so an operative can get in there and destroy it. The guards are easily dealt with and our agent goes inside. Also, the Bull has this amazing Mario 64 throw where he just swings one guy around in a circle and takes out everyone nearby. I like it a lot. 2 executives try to escape. I take out the first in the subway and the second very nearly escapes to the museum, but I pull him out of the door at the last second. This sadly means I'm not there to see the hotel explode. I drop the agent back off at Rocket Burger to finish the mission. Apparently there's a food riot going on and the corporation has sent their death squads to end it. I just walk down the street and beat them up. Things moving along quicker. I'm doing a much better job in this level. It's the one I beat the quickest at an hour and 3/4. There's also 3 more troops near the toy shop who I flamethrower. Remember the killers? After all these ass kickings I gave them back in Chinatown, they are now willing to work with us. They run a club above Candy Girl and one of their regulars is Captain Burns, who is responsible for the recent death squads. I head right on over and gun him down. Sorry Jim, but hey, you've got 15 years to avert this future. Green icon managed replaced with Shepard. There's 2 more death squads in the area. In the indoor area there's a huge backup squad for me. As soon as I'm here with them, a death squad comes in from behind and opens fire. My backup manages to deal with the first group while I'm busy writhing on the ground on fire. The second group is just standing in the corner in plain sight. These are supposed to be strategic locations. Once again, my team does most of the work while I claim the credit. But if death squads are still around after dealing with the man responsible for them, did I just kill Jim Sterling for nothing? Back of a toy shop for more missions. We got some info from the killer's leader. The corporation is supplying weapons and training to the skins. The killers will help us if we take care of them. I quickly take out the skins in the subway to get a corporation ID card from one of them and hand it over. The skins didn't like that and are currently beating the killer's leader to death in the subway. So I go down there, save him and hand him over to his gang in the mini-mall. It's now time to help the killers take back their hideout in the subway from the skins since their leader is recovering. I pick them up from the mini-mall and go into the subway for the 3rd mission in a row. The if they give me deals with most of them right away, but the killers are fragile, so while I'm trying to deal with survivors, they all get killed. They do a better job of not dying next time and they get their hideout back, but right after I report back, the skins are already trying to take it back with some new weapons. My job is to simply deliver some weapons from Protect to the killers. I report back and I'm being sent straight back to help them out for my next mission. He gives me a gun, but when the skins arrive, I fail because just about all the killers die while I'm stuck going up this escalator. Next time I wipe out a good chunk of them just shooting at the escalator they're coming down where they can't fight back. While I deal with stragglers in the subway itself, the other killers took out the rest of the skins elsewhere. We're not done yet with them though, we're going to attack while they're recovering, so I meet up with the killers in the subway yet again. They say that the skins are rallying in the park, so we all head off together. We wipe out the group outside in no time and I take one of their shotguns to deal with the rest of them leaving their base. And that is the skins dealt with for good. Back across from Rocket Burger for my next mission. I need to kidnap the manager of the bank from the coffee shop. While he's leaving I kill his 2 guards to scare him into coming with me. I then drop him off at the Blossom safe house. In the second between reporting back to finish the mission and starting the next one, the manager talked. He gave up the access code to some corporation accounts. There's some agents waiting for me in the hallway to escort them to the bank. You know how this goes by now, one of them dies while I'm dealing with the guards. I get them in next time. Then comes the good old keeping the enemy from walking through a door routine. At least a couple of the agents will actually come out and help me fend them off. Once they're all out, I just have to take them back to Blossoms. While my agents were in there, they transferred away a massive amount of the corporation's funds. Now I just need to board the bank with his executives still inside. Shepard gives me a rocket launcher, I run right over there and blow the bank, the executives and myself sky high. I survive though. I get back to be told the corporation doctor wants to defect and he's waiting to meet me at the park. He's panicking because the corporation sent a squad out to silence him. Good thing I still have that rocket launcher. Good thing blowing one of my own safe houses has no consequence. Once his squad is wiped out, he talks. He left because he couldn't live with what the corporation were doing. They also threatened to kill his wife if he left the company. If I save her, he'll help freedom. His wife doesn't know he's defected yet, but the corporation has her under security. While she's shopping, I have to kill her escort and bring her to her husband. The escort is easily dealt with, I take her to her husband and then take them both to the safe house. We learn from the doctor that the corporation is going to send out more mad bombers with their nanotech chips. It's been a while since we've had to deal with them. I just have to find the control box so we can disable the signal triggering the bombers. I then proceed to get blown up by the first 2 mad bombers I find. The signal box is on the ground in the subway. I'm sure this was here way earlier. I even beat someone over the head with it. I tried taking it back but tear gas was let off and I dropped the box and destroy it. Of the 3 exits from this area, 2 are filled with tear gas. The one that isn't leads to the long way back. I hand it over to the doctor at Rocketburg and have to protect him while he disables it. I get an AK for fending off my bombers with, but I run out of ammo on the last one and the doctor is blown up. Then on my 3rd try I just end up in range of the bomber's explosion and die. I manage my ammo better the 4th time and the doctor manages to disable the signal, preventing more bombers. My next mission is back at the toy shop. I have to escort a team to the corporation armory for some heavy weapons. I pick up the team inside the mini-mall and get going. The armory is in this section I've rarely visited so far, containing a lot of corporation buildings. I take out the guards in front and send the team inside. I even hold up the backup long enough for them to get out and get back to the safe house. Our next targets are the guards in front of the museum. I have to lure them to the mini-mall where there's an ambush for them. I shoulder barge for a load of them to get their attention and my guys take over and wipe them out. As you've probably guessed, next is destroying the museum. In the mini-mall I pick up a team with a rocket launcher but fail a mission when there's more guards who block all my rockets with their bodies. Next time I get that shot in though. Now there's some missions outside Blossoms. There is now an elite military strike force coming to take back the city. One of their important leaders is arriving with the first wave. They're only a few meters away from Blossoms and I knock him down while dealing with his thousands of guards. In the confusion he manages to slip away though and I just miss him as he gets safely into Corporation HQ. Next time I get killed by all those guards. I get him third time though, finishing with a good shoulder barge. It's a big blow to them but they're not stopping yet. There's now 2 military squads at the south gate, I just need to take out their sergeants. He even gives a grenade launcher to help. The first one I get with my first shot near the museum, the second is by the starting point, and there's a third next to the toy shop. The strike force is falling back now, but they've blocked off the main entrances to the plaza to protect the main corporation businesses. He gives me an AK-47 and sends me to deal with both blockades. I just gun the first lot down and the second abandons their post and comes for me. I take them out even quicker. This leads to a load of corporation executives trying to escape through the subway. A subway worker will give us information for a bribe, I just have to hand over the money. When I meet him, he's a little concerned about 3 guys in dark suits following him. Those 3 guys show up right as the text box is closing. It's only 3 so they go down quick. But there's another agent running away. I just managed to pull him out of the doorway to Corporation HQ and deal with him. I return to the worker who has arranged it so the next time I come in here there'll only be 1 guy left monitoring the power switch. That's my next mission. Back into the subway, remove the guys watching the power switch, leave. No more trains, so no one escapes. Of course, the military isn't a big fan of this action, so they're trying to take it back. He gives me some backup and a grenade launcher to fight them off with. The grenade doesn't do much, but my grab and swing helps out a lot. Then I just burn through the M16s dropped by the ones I killed until they're all gone. My backup didn't last long, they could have just not come along. Back to Rocket Burger for the next missions. The corporation are now so desperate that they're arresting suspected freedom sympathisers to use as human shields around their headquarters. They're currently being transferred from prison to the HQ, so I have to kill the ones escorting them. I try being clever and taking the long way around so I can get in front and make it easier. It doesn't make things easier, it just means I take so long that they're all being put inside the building and I fail. Turns out they were taking that route themselves and I just needed to take the obvious route all along. Who knew? I shoot my way through the guards and lead everyone to the Blossom safe house. Just to make sure this doesn't happen again, my next target is the political prison centre. An agent in the subway station gives me a rocket launcher which I use to blow up both the prison and the courthouse. That doesn't mean the corporation is ready to give in yet, they've sent out troops to recapture the prisoners I saved. This means protecting the door to Blossoms. Good thing I still have some rockets. Fun fact, blowing up Blossoms with the prisoners inside doesn't fail the mission. I also get dangerously close to failing when a guy goes in, but turns out he still isn't bullet immune. I still fail the first time because I accidentally did a grab and pummel instead of a grab and swing and one soldier just strolls on into the shop. Second attempt, I die. Third time I accidentally take out a poor bystander failing to keep another one out. It takes until the 4th try for me to make it to the 3rd and final wave, but all it takes is swiping one of their guns and they don't last long. To the toy shop for my next mission. Marcus, the freedom leader if you remember or even still care, has been captured and the corporation plans to execute him live on TV. But we may have some unexpected help. A top corporation VIP wants to meet me in the park. I meet him but he's been followed. Once that annoyance is out of the way, the VIP introduces himself as John Hanson. He was one of the corporation founders back when they were just a corporation. Once it became a regime and started killing people, he started secretly funding freedom. He told Marcus if he was ever in danger, he would bail him out, but first I have to get into the toy shop safe house. As you'd expect, the corporation are after Hanson and have launched an attack on the toy shop. I get loads of backup and charge towards the tear gas, firing into it with a minigun. My backup ran into the gas, dropped their guns and all died. My blind firing did take out a chunk of the enemy force, but in the end the grab and swing proves most useful. But all that was just the first wave. I turn the corner and get lit on fire. I manage to take the flamethrower and deal with the next lot, but soon after I get killed by minigun fire to the dick. I'm smarter with my minigun ammo the next time and utterly destroy them. With the base safe, it's time to rescue Marcus. Hanson has given us the route he'll be taking to the firing squad, from the corporation HQ to the centre of the plaza. I have to join with Freedom Special Ops guys at Rocket Burger and then set off to free Marcus. I get there but Marcus is killed while I'm trying to beat up the firing squad. Next time I bring an AK and take out the firing squad in seconds, then take Marcus back to the base. Missions are back at Rocket Burger. Now the corporation is deploying shitloads of troops in the park. I'm given a huge team of Freedom members to lead to that park. I take a gun from the enemy and with my team we take out the strike force in no time. Corporation's still trying though. There's no weapons drop in the park. I have to capture those weapons before our troops can get to them. When I get to the park there's a selection of weapons, I just have to keep the troops away from them. I can use the weapons myself too. Thing is, there's a lot of enemies and I get killed the first time, but on my second try I keep the weapons safe. Just 2 missions left now. There's a trap set along the south streets for the corporation forces, I just have to lead them into the blast area where Cole will set off the blasts. Okay, but does it have to be Cole? Then I just have to wipe out any survivors. But here's an interesting idea, I just pinched a rocket launcher from that last mission. What if I just blew them all up myself? It counts, and more importantly, Cole gets no credit. I return to the toy shop to start the final mission. With the corporation's forces reduced to a mere fraction of what it once was, it's time to attack their HQ and fully take back the city from them. There's a rocket launcher with some agents in the subway. To add to the feeling of finality, there's a loud alarm blaring throughout the entirety of the mission. I have to go to the main plaza and destroy every building there. I use my last couple of rockets from the last mission first, then get the launch from the subway. I take out each building before finally blowing up the corporation HQ in the middle. This city is free, the corporation has fled, but this is just one city, and Freedom is prepared to run them out of the country as branches are now starting up even outside this city. After celebrations, Marcus is wanting us to come with him and help free the West Coast. I assume that's what the sequel is about. We then get one more news report where the newsreader is cut off and a Freedom agent announces the revolution, but it also gets off by the loading screen mid-sentence. After that, I'm dropped back off of the main menu. For beating Revolution mode, we unlock more to do in Chaos mode. There's unlimited time, which you can guess what that is. You may notice those markers next to the top ones. Doing Chaos and both fixed time modes on a single level after beating Revolution unlocks Last Clone Standing and Fixed Time Clone. Last Clone Standing is a time trial on how quickly I can kill a certain number of clones. I don't care for it much, it just becomes a pain hunting down those last few and it just goes on and on. When you get to the last few, you get a sensor that sort of helps you find the last ones. The last 3 modes don't get those markers, by the way. Fixed Time Clone is simply seeing how many clones you can kill in the time limit, and that's really it. I go through the levels again, unlocking and playing a bit of these clone modes, then all 4 levels have those 3 markers. And that was State of Emergency, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. While it is true that things were getting a bit monotonous towards the end, I admit that it wasn't helped by me going through all of Revolution mode in one day. I think this game would be better received today, being on a handheld system like the Switch. Chaos mode is quick and fun and feels like the perfect thing to just take with you and play a few games on before getting on with something else. It's like I said earlier, the game moves so quick that you don't get a chance to get frustrated with it that often. I'd honestly recommend trying it out for about half an hour. It's not like it's hard or expensive to get a hold of, it's probably the most common non-EA Sports PS2 game to find second hand. Most shops would pay to take all those unboxed. I did the first State of Emergency game all the way back in episode 7 about 2.5 years ago. It was one of the most pleasant surprises I've had doing this show. Expecting a naff GTA 3 clone but instead getting a fun chaotic arcade experience. So let's see how State of Emergency 2 went. Last time we seemingly took down the corporation that had taken control of America, mainly by blowing them all sky high. But 4 years later it looks like they survived and regained their power and got even more. This game has a more cinematic story mode as opposed to it being told through text boxes like the first game. We open on Capital City, where we get to see corporation enforcers beating down members of the public. There's a whole row of them stood outside the Justice Corps building, not noticing a woman above sneaking in through a window. It's Anna Price, or Libra from the first game. She's speaking with Ricky Fang, Freak, of the radio. She hacks into one of their computers and finds some blueprints of one of the corporation's maximum security prisons. She sends them over to Freak and he tells her to get out quickly. But she pokes around a bit more and finds a file on something called Project Empyrean. She's about to download it and send it to Freak for encryption, but she's surrounded and arrested by the Justice Corps. Freak looks sad for about 2 seconds and then turns up the TV. Roy McNeil, Mac, and Eddie Raymond's Bull had also been arrested right after we blew up the corporation headquarters in the first game. Mac especially was a big grab for them, and they planned to execute him live on TV the next night, which is why Libra was sneaking around for those prison blueprints. That just leaves Freak and one more leader of Freedom Free, who he calls. Hector Soldado, Spanky, tells Freak that he has a guy inside the prison already. The next night we see Mac being marched to the chair. He's put in, and as the automated voice asks if he wants an upgrade to his standard execution, Freak hacks in. He can't stop them turning on the gas, but Spanky's inside man has left something under his seat. He then turns off Mac's restraints. When the gas cloud fades, Mac's wearing a gas mask and has a gun. The studio audience leaves as I just sit back in my chair shooting at the prison guards that come after me. So this game changes from the beat-em-up-esque style of the original to a more over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. This is 2006, many games are doing that style. For this opening bit I have infinite health so I can get used to the aiming, and I'm not a fan. Vertical feels like it moves too slow while at the same time it moves too much when I just want a slight movement. I also make sure to destroy any bits of the environment that I can, it'll be important. After a while, Mac's legs are freed and he takes a headset from a dead guard to stay connected to Freak. The alarm goes off and the place goes into lockdown. Pausing the game and looking at my objectives, I can see that each level has 3 bonus objectives. One for finishing under a certain time, one for destroying enough property, and a third one I don't figure out for a while. For the sake of my sanity, I'm not going to go into detail on every object I destroy, that would make some level descriptions go on forever. The guards mainly come in above me and I quickly take them all out. Freaky tells Mac his best escape option is through the main cell block and opens the door to let me out. I head through the corridor and get shooting more guards. I'm still in the tutorial section so I'm still invincible at the moment. I get a new weapon, a pistol. Picking it up suddenly means the mini SMG I started with now has limited ammo. Is that how it works? You have infinite ammo until you own a second gun? I open up the next door and take advantage of my current invincibility to explode a barrel in my own face with no repercussions. There are crates nearby I can shoot for more weapons and ammo, including a shotgun. The red light goes away so things look less ugly as I open up the next door. I barge through the metal detector, take on more guards, and find that for some reason this game has trouble picking up my PS2 controller. There'll be a lot of controller missing screens I'm editing around. At the next door, Mac and Freak have a little conversation. He finally sends Mac the prison blueprints, which has a mini-map to the hood. I enter the cell block where Freak says there are 4 warden officers, each one with a switch that will release prisoners. If I free all the prisoners, I can sneak out in the ensuing riot. The 4 officers are up a ramp in each corner of this room. Each one is surrounded by a group of guards. I take out one and flip the first switch. This causes a new group to spawn in and zero in on the office I just flipped the switch in. I actually have a health bar now as I dash along to the next office. I take out the group protecting it and flip the second switch. That's half of the prisoners freed. However, on my way to the third office, I get killed. I actually struggled with this part and died a lot. There's one thing that could have helped, but I won't find out about it until after I've beaten the main story. It doesn't help that I'm also using ammo shooting every tiny monitor trying to up the damage count as much as possible. After, no joke, half an hour of dying on the first level, I find I can increase the aim sensitivity just a little, so I can at least aim faster. First switch pulled, second switch pulled. There are also these guys in the balconies that are easy to miss if you're focusing on the ones barreling up to you. Third switch pulled, then next to the final switch I achieve the destruction target by causing damage worth a combined $150,000. I pull the final switch which causes them to send even more guards in to stop the riot. Before we break out I have to kill the guards and stop them slaughtering all the prisoners. I gun them all down and escape through a service corridor in one of the warden offices. On the way out, a dying prisoner who knows Mac's name gets his attention. He uses his last breaths to tell Mac he needs to stop Empyrean and to tell Libra as she'll know what to do. But right now, the next goes to break out Bull. Completing the destruction target unlocks Bob in multiplayer. I think he's the guy that just died. That was Chapter 1, Execution. Next is Chapter 2, Free Bull. Mac almost gets himself killed by a security drone. Freak couldn't disarm them, so I have to deal with it. At this point the game tells me about leaning. It takes me a few tries because I kept pressing the wrong shoulder button and walking right into its line of fire. There are many of these and I just work my way down the corridor taking them out. I reach a switch to open a door then get shot in the back. Turns out there was one more hidden away. But I open the door anyway and just run through to heal. I take out the last 2 here since I need that damage counter to increase and go up the ladder. On this floor I now have both drones and guards to deal with at once. It's easy to forget about the drones, run after a guard trying to shoot him and then get gunned down yourself. What kills me this time is getting knocked down by a drone and then standing up right into a guard's shot. What follows is just more leaning around corners blowing up drones and shooting guards. It goes on for a bit until I reach some stairs and take them up to the roof, where there's a sniper rifle waiting for me. Freak says not to waste the ammo, so I take out the first guard with just my pistol. But the others are either moving or just too far away, so I have to use the rifle for them. I wish I'd upped the brightness recording this game. Watching these night levels back, I have a hard time telling what's going on. I climb up the first ladder I find and start picking off any guards I can see. Once it's clear, I walk across to the next section and get spotted. I blow him away before I can alert the others. I once again climb up a nearby ladder and shoot down all the guards in my view. Once I've got them all, I climb down and realise there was one hiding right around the corner from me the entire time. Behind him I go inside and up more stairs. I exit slightly higher up, get to the nearest ladder, and once again pick off guards I can reach. Once they're gone, I enter the area marked Block B. I take out the nearby guards and the one sniping me from a distance. Moving on, there's a few more and a drone before I can safely find a ladder down into the cell block. They have Bull on his knees ready to execute him in front of the other prisoners. I mess it up first time by shooting one in the chest, not killing him and going for the other, allowing him to kill Bull. Next time I play smarter and headshot the both of them. Bull takes a headpiece and I have to cover him, killing all the guards while he runs around freeing the prisoners. It's simple, first take out the 2 in his way, then the 4 that come out of the warden's office. Bull can then reach the switch and open some cells. I look away for a second and Bull plummets to near death from 2 grenades from the second office. He pulls the second switch and gets trapped inside by 4 more guards, but one I killed dropped a grenade and Bull runs right into it and gets himself killed. Next time I reach that point, there's no grenades and Bull has taken only the tiniest bit of damage. I realise I have infinite rifle ammo for this section, so I can just keep firing like crazy until I hit something. Bull pulls the 3rd switch and I take out the last 4 in no time, letting him release the last of the prisoners. Bull then opens up our escape door and the chapter is complete. This time I didn't accomplish any of the bonus objectives, I just couldn't find much to destroy. Now for chapter 3, Breakout. We can't get out alone, we need the help of all these prisoners. Freak marks on my map the controls to open the shutters. Here I can play as both Mac and Bull, being able to swap between them with the select button. I run up the stairs to the left and start picking off the guards shooting at the prisoners, but then I start getting shot at from all sides. In the end I get killed turning around to face the one left shooting at me. Next time I start with the right set of stairs, where they were all pouring out from last time. I then shoot out all the ones on the ground floor again. Once they're all dead, I use the free time to smash up everything I can. After a few minutes I finally get going down that right corridor. I switch to Bull as I use up all of Mac's ammo breaking lights. Mac just stands in view of a drone, but since he isn't the player character at the moment, it doesn't see him. More guards come out and they're easily dealt with, granting me a massive amount of screens to destroy and a switch that opens doors to let in even more prisoners. Next is getting the exit open. Freak tells me there are explosives in the armory. It's on the opposite set of stairs that I died on first time, with the doors opening and letting more guards through. So I just fight my way through the new lot and reach this door requiring Bull's strength. I have to smash the shoulder buttons to fill the bars and smash the doors open. Inside is a load of weapon refills and the remote mines. I go to the main doors, plant the mines and blow a huge hole open for the prisoners to escape. I head outside and right away I'm being shot at by a guy in a turret. Freak tells me there's a helicopter somewhere around me to escape with. Only Mac has a sniper rifle, so I hang back inside the building to take out all the turret users I can reach. This triggers a few normal guards to try and fire on the prisoners, but I take them all down. Turns out I missed one turret, so I get rid of him and get running around the back. I run up the slope taking out guards, with others from a distance chipping away at Bull's health. Once at the top I swap to Mac and snipe those guys. I follow the path inside, up a ladder, out and back inside again, where I go down a ladder and at the door I'm now being shot at by a helicopter. It hangs about above just unloading minigun fire at me. It's a bit of a hassle with it moving everywhere, but after a couple minutes I manage to snipe the pilot and bring it down. We can also see the helicopter I want to use below. I follow the path, go down a ladder and take out a group of guards by blowing up a fuse box. Behind them is another door for Bull to break open. This building is my target, so I decide to snipe the guards inside from a distance. I go into the building where I can finally heal Bull and grab some rockets and flip the switch to open the huge gate and let the prisoners further in. This also opens the gate leading to the helicopter. I fight my way through the last batch of guards and can finally get on that helicopter. I need to use this to deactivate the laser gates. The helicopter can fire both its chain gun and homing rockets. There are 4 generators marked on my map to destroy. There's also a load of turrets to blow up to add to my damage counter. And there's usually a few of them surrounding the generators, as I find while taking out the first one. It's quite easy to lose a lot of health to a turret as they normally don't get fully going until you're directly above them and can't aim at them. On destroying the second generator I reach $160,000 of damage and reach the destruction target. With nothing else to delay me, I can just take out the last 2 and remove that laser gate, releasing all the prisoners while we fly off. I unlock the Enforcer in multiplayer and the Ghetto map for the same mode. Speaking of the Ghetto, next is Chapter 4, The Ghetto. Spanky has been watching the prison escape on TV and laughing his ass off, Freak calling him to make sure he's watching. Freak says that Mac and Bull will be meeting Spanky soon, but Spanky also has an Enforcer unit coming right after him. However, this is Spanky's territory, so he has a turret mounted on his roof. So the first part of this chapter has me manning this infinite ammo turret against a huge mob of Enforcers. There are some explosive barrels and cars left around to blow up on groups, but even then you still have to be careful and think about the order you're killing these guys. Because as soon as they reach their position, they will continue to shoot you, and I die the first time. It seems I was close the first time, as on my second attempt I clear that wave after about the same amount of time. Spanky asks Freak when the Enforcers even started bothering with the Ghetto, as they normally ignore it. Freak says they're also getting involved in the drugs business, so Spanky guesses they were trying to eliminate the competition. The killers are still the main dealers, that one gang out of the many that I had to deal with in a few missions in the first game. They figure that if Spanky warns the killers about the enforcers, they'll help in return. Because Spanky holds 2 pistols, that means he tends to fire twice for each shot and use up your ammo twice as fast. This level is a bit different. Instead of being linear, I have an entire section of a city to explore and a huge destruction target of $200,000. So first I just get running around shooting every single thing I can find. Phone boxes, bus stops, shop windows, every single light up sign. After about 5 minutes of just shooting everything, some enforcers show up to try and kill me. I actually lose a lot of health as I run out of ammo just as they show up and have to run around picking more up. Soon after, while shooting signs, I accidentally enter a killer's club, White Lines. He explains to the leader what's happening and he joins up with me to help find out where the corporation's dealers are, which Freak marks down on the map. Well, first he has to deal with me shooting more of the scenery. Although I naturally pass by and kill the first dealer. Cue a few more minutes of destruction, even taking out the light bulbs in traffic lights. This destruction target stuff is very tedious. It's not fun or satisfying just shooting out tiny computer monitors or flimsy shop windows. Compared to the first game's more chaotic forms of destruction, it just doesn't compare. And I lose a lot of progress on that when an enforcer kills me. On my second try I take out the second dealer. Luckily the pedestrians here will also take on the enforcers themselves and even kill some for me. Another minute of smashing windows and I take out the third dealer, actually being guarded by enforcers this time. After over 20 minutes in this chapter smashing shit, I finally get that $200,000 in damage dealt. And the good thing is, even if I'm checkpointed to before this if I die, I still get to keep the completed target. Without any more of that faffing about to do, I shoot out the 4th dealer, then the 5th. I approach the final dealer who tries to run only for the leader and another to grab him. They drop him before Spanky for the interrogation minigame. I have to hold X and let go when the bar reaches just the right spot. Too early and you don't hit hard enough. Too late and you hit too hard and kill him. And you have to get it right 3 times. I honestly found it way too easy to kill the guy. When I do it right, the guy says he gets the drugs at the abandoned police station. He says it's a new drug called Empyrean. The 3 of us are then surrounded by enforcers. I just kill one for a shotgun and very easily plough through the rest of them. Trey, the leader, says we need to go back to his club and recruit some more of his crew to take on that drug lab with. So I head back where I'm told I can now recruit gang members allied with Sparky. So I start with all the killers in the club and then run all over the map recruiting even more. I find the police and gun half of them down through the window. Then when I go inside I just barely survive and take out the ones hiding out above. I grab the remote mines in one of the rooms and get the old police station marked on my map. Of course there's a large group of them outside waiting for me. I end up wiping out most of my gang myself as they congregate between me and the police while we're shooting at each other, but I was a hit from death anyway so I don't last long. Next time, instead of hanging outside, I just barge in and shoot at everyone. It works, but I don't have much health left. I next go down to the car park where there's even more of them waiting and hiding behind cover. I kill a good chunk of them, but die again. Next time I get them all, but once again just barely. I plant a mine on the stockpile of Empyrean, belt it outside and wipe it off the face of the planet. As the chapter ends, Freak tells Spanky to find a way into the docks. I unlock Trey and Spanky for multiplayer. Chapter 5, The Docks. Spanky watches the helicopter carrying Mac and Bull crash land further on. $425,000 for a destruction target has me thinking, what the hell do they want from me? To start, I'm immediately attacked by enforcers, but I still have a few gang members to pack me up. There's not many, so they go down in no time. I enter this building and through a fence I see a floating state of emergency logo. I don't know what to do with it yet as my attempt at shooting it doesn't work and I can't knock down the fence. So I just exit out the other side to see that Mac and Bull are cornered. So I just shoot one and the majority of them forget the other 2 and come for me. They're bad shots and I kill them all, then quickly sweep the last lot dealing with the others. Also, Mac's a fucking dick, still looking down on the guy who just saved his life and worked alongside him in the first game. Bull's actually grateful. They see a huge Empyrean shipment and the 3 pull together everything they know about it. They want more answers and an enforcer just happens to still be alive near them, so it's interrogating time. It takes me way too long to get 3 successful hits in without killing him. He says that the corporation plans to sell Empyrean to other countries' governments to control their populations. Empyrean is designed to affect the user's brain to suppress free will and make them more likely to just do as they're told. On top of that, it drastically lowers the user's life expectancy. Spanky is furious they've been selling it in his neighbourhood, to which the enforcer says it was a final test before using it on people who matter, as he says. Spanky gives him a much deserved bone crushing. While that's going on, the corporation have brought in a tank. Well, Spanky's done his job and he's not taking on a tank, so he bails. I have to get Bull close enough to the tank to steal it. I have to time pressing X so that Bull can run between cover without getting hit. I fail right away. The way to do it is to make a bull start running the second the shell explodes, though there are some shots that are too quick even for that. Once Bull gets up close, he throws some tear gas inside and makes the driver flee. Now I understand why the destruction target is so high. I can't drive just yet, but there are more tanks trying to surround me. They each take a few shots to destroy, which I do while blowing up whatever objects I can in between. A few minutes of tank busting and Mac manages to get the tank moving. Next objective is to destroy all the Empyrean shipments. First there's the one pointed out in the cutscene. I then get onto this boat where more enforcers show up. Some have rockets, but I can also just squish them. I exit the ship on the other side and get heading further down. There's still more tanks to deal with too. I don't like controlling the tank, it feels way too clunky and awkward and turning takes an eternity, even by video game tank standards. There are 2 more Empyrean shipments just out in the open, and then I turn to the hardest part. Not only are there more tanks moving around the shipyard, but more enforcers have rockets. This is where that slow turning can fuck you over. Luckily, when left alone, the tank can regenerate health. There are 4 more shipments in this maze of shipping containers. The third one I destroy gets me the destruction target. After the 4th, the last 2 are already on a ship. The aiming's a bit awkward, but I get them and Mac and Bull escape in the tank. I unlock some form of Mac and some guy Duncan for the multiplayer. Maybe he's a cop I interrogated. Chapter 6. Escape. Mac somehow wrote off the tank, so Freak says they're just gonna have to steal another. He says Spanky is gathering up more killers to help and will meet us at the border crossing. First thing to do is have Bull break down this door leading into a town square. To get a tank to show up, I have to fight enforcers and destroy corporation property to incite a riot with the civilians. So I get doing that. I see this corporation statue with another of those spinning logos. Once again my shooting attempts didn't work, so I end up leaving it again. Stuff's just blowing up around us as we get our first enforcers with riot shields to deal with. I take some grenades from dead enforcers, but I still need tear gas for the upcoming tank. Once the tank shows up, I guess and just lightly jog up to the tank to take it over. This time I don't have to control the tank, which is fortunate. While Mac drives, I play as Bull and man the minigun. As the tank moves, I have waves and waves of enforcers coming at me on foot, along with a few hiding high up in the buildings. Along with helicopters that take a while to shoot down before Mac gets stuck at a dead end and I have to mow down the idiots who think charging me will work. Mac shoots open a multi-storey car park and goes in there. Of course, there's even more of them flowing in from above. I don't have much to say about this part, it's just 3 mates going up ramp shooting dudes. Then it's back down another street until I'm through this blown up sign, when I turn around and shoot down like 20 or 30 more enforcers in a few seconds. We reach another dead end and have to abandon the tank. We're at the border crossing, but there's more enforcers and a laser gate. The only way through is to find the controls and disable it. At that point, Spanky and the killers show up and they'll take on the guards as a distraction. I try to help them and get gunned down in no time. I'm supposed to sneak off to the left and go down this ladder, then use a mine to blow up the bars so I can get inside. I run through an empty corridor until a door opens and there's a load of enforcers ready for me. After them it's the ones with riot shields, followed by a couple more waves of normal enforcers. Then I'm taking on riot shields while dealing with a drone at the same time. All these corridors lead to a larger, more open room filled with explosive barrels. It looks like I've killed them all with the tiniest bit of health left, but just a second before I can grab that health pack, one dickhead comes charging in from the corner and kills me. Next time I kill the fucker. Then there's just a few more corridors of enforcers and drones where I grab my first assault rifle. It goes on for a while and it's really dull until I eventually reach the security room. Freak tells me to just destroy everything, so I do. Spanky and Bull have dealt with all the guards and with the drones and gates shut down, they can all get through. For the multiplayer I unlocked Bull and the Workers Zone map. Couldn't reach the destruction target though. Chapter 7. Rescue Libra. In Capital City's Workers Zone, Mac is ready to return the favour for Libra getting him out of prison. Freak says the safest way to get to her is by air, so I'm going to have to steal a nearby helicopter. I now have a silenced gun as this chapter is all about stealth. Anyone gets alerted to me, they run straight for the nearest alarm and I get swamped. Thing is, this gun is wank to aim with. Reticle right on the guy's head and 3 shots still don't touch him. I can also shoot out the alarm so they can't be used. These guys are a bit stupid though. If the guy next to him is alerted, he won't be unless he either sees you himself or the alarm goes off. So if one sees me, it's best to just run up to that guy and gun him down. I clear out the first 2 sections and snipe a guy at a higher level before I climb this ladder. The guys on the second level are omniscient though, and shooting one enforcer has another out of view who can't possibly see him already halfway to the alarm and setting it off. So I get ganged up on, but still survive with the bare minimum health to climb another ladder where I'm killed in a second by the enforcers waiting for me. I do a lot better next time and get up with almost full health. Since no one was alerted this time, I can get to sniping the last lot of enforcers while they're unaware. But then I accidentally alert them looking for more and get pulverised. Next time I just play more carefully, but there's one hidden away to the left who still sees me. But this time I react quick enough to destroy the alarm and take them all out. The helicopter's there, but while shooting out the windows of this door, I see another of those logos inside. I shoot it and it works this time, so it was just being picky before. But now I know that the hidden objectives are these hidden targets in each level. This game is barely documented because no one cares, so finding this stuff was tougher than usual. Now I can take the helicopter. Freak can't find Libra, so he tells me to fly low around the city to see if he can get the signal from her phone's GPS. Thing is, there's tourists and enforcers underneath me with rockets, and they blow me up while Freak's still talking. There's a radio transmitter blocking Libra's signal that I'll have to destroy before we can start tracking her, but I just can't find a safe spot to turn and shoot out all those assholes below. So next time I just fly up as high as I can and start picking off the enforcers from the top down. I need to destroy as much as I can too, because the destruction target is $750,000. I get killed a third time, but the fourth try is where I finally get it. I take out enough turrets to reach the destruction target. Next is that radio transmitter that explodes with little effort. Now, the bar on the left of the screen showing how close to Libra I am is active. More helicopters have been sent to wipe me out, but they're actually easier to deal with than the turrets and enforcers. Libra is being held near the huge bright conspicuous building towering above the others. I just lower myself a bit and there she is, so I gun down everyone around her. Libra can now get up and tells Mac to get going himself. She still has something left to do and gets climbing down the side of the building. This part is a huge pain. Libra jumps down slowly and there are always more enforcers leaning out of windows to shoot me. They tend to be spread out so it's quite easy to get shot while trying to find the next target. It doesn't help that the arrows pointing out enemies can be misleading here, leaving you to get shot a load while you follow it. Also got to watch out for those on the ground who also try approaching. Of course, I die, and quite close at the bottom too. It's not until my fourth try I finally manage to reach the bottom, and this level is still going as I get running through the streets. Enforcers try to stop me, but I fight through them as I bring Libra to the Justice Corps building she started the game in. And now I have to do the long, slow jumping segment again, but this time going up a building. Aside from the guy shooting me out the windows, I also now have two enforcers at a time rappelling down towards me. This time I finish it first try and get back inside. She connects Freak into the computer she was at when she was caught so we can start transferring the data. I now have to stay alive while the download slowly progresses. But since I'm already so close to death, you can guess it doesn't work this time. But I do somehow last for the download to reach 35%. Not all of the enforcers are focusing on me though, the other half of them are shooting at this surprisingly sturdy computer. I game over if it's destroyed before the download finishes. This time I make it to 62% before I'm killed. Next time I get creative. I plant mines by all the doors so that the enforcers will charge in and just blow up. It works out well, but I die as the download reaches 100%. I was not happy. Then at 85% the enforcers destroy the computer. But next time I survive and the download finishes. Libra jumps out the window onto Mac's helicopter and they escape. I unlock Libra and Lance in multiplayer. Who's Lance? Chapter 8, The Plan. While looking through the data we stole, Freak finds a video pitch for Empyrean intended for selling it to other countries. They outright state that it alters the brain to suppress aspects like disobedience. It's not just being planted in the drugs they're dealing on the streets, but also in regular medication and food. Another stolen file shows the 4 Empyrean distribution centres in the workers' zone. Spanky wants to blow it up, but Freak still doesn't have an exact location on those centres and we're out of explosives. But the Mall Rats, another gang from the first game, should still have some left over. And so Spanky and Bull have to go over to the mall to sort out a deal. But this is another large city area like the ghetto, so first I have a long destruction spree to reach that target. Same stuff, windows, bus shelters, light up signs, enforcers picking fights. This time the target is $403,000. After about 12 minutes and running low on ammo, I decide to meet the Mall Rats. Bull explains everything to the leader and asks for their help. But they were raided by the enforcers 2 weeks earlier and had most of their firepower taken. So the solution is obvious, we take it back from the lockup. I also have a few Mall Rats joining me. I just follow my map to the lockup and get shooting. I run through the gate and lose loads of Spanky's health getting up this ramp. Swapping to Bull doesn't help as I reach the top of the ramp and I get shredded. Next time I do much better and clear out this section too. I think the issue is that I just find this game so dull that I keep trying to brute force to make it go faster, but doing that gets me killed. The door further in opens as shield enforcers have a go next. At this point all my Mall Rats are dead, so it's just Spanky and Bull. I go through the open door and take on the next wave. Freak tells me the explosives are in a weapon cache behind the garage, but first there's even more of them coming from that direction, but all the machine gun ammo I gained obliterates them. I almost die when another group sneaks up on me, but I switch in time and kill them too. I make it into the cache and take the explosives. Freak next tells me to plant them in the Empyrean offices. The biggest surprise in this chapter was no more enforcers on the way out. I thought I'd be fighting my way back. I reach the first marked building and have Bull break open the door. I place the explosives and I have to fight my way out. I'm still shooting any object I can on the way to the next one. Once again, break open door, plant bomb, shoot way out. I reach the third and it's the same process. On the way here I picked up some Molotovs, but they weren't that useful in a cramped space. Just one more left and here's something weird. When Bull goes to break the door, he suddenly lit as if he's indoors before the door's even open. I plant the last explosive and fight off more enforcers. Freak tells me to return to the Mallrat's base, so I do. All 4 of the Empyrean officers go up in smoke. Spanky and Bull retreat and Mac takes over. We still need to destroy all the fast food places still containing Empyrean-filled food. I return to the police precinct where they've restocked their enforcers. There are much less this time, so I easily make my way to the garage and take the tank inside. Now I get why this chapter has such a large destruction target. While I'm driving to these food places, the corporation is sending more tanks against me. I will say, as dull as the gameplay is, hitting enforcers with the tank and watching them bounce around at least has a small bit of fun in it. All it takes is one missile inside the buildings to blow them out. During my rampage I reach that destruction target. I take out all the fast food places and finish the chapter by driving the tank back to the safe house. I unlock Piers in multiplayer, whoever that is, maybe the Mallrats leader. Chapter 9, Broadcast. Libra and Spanky are sent to the industrial sector, where Mallrats have already managed to infiltrate. Our job here is to broadcast to the general public what the corporation has been doing to them. He's marked out locations for me to place beacons that will help locate the corporation's satellite transmitter. Once the helicopter lands, I climb down and, as usual, get looking for things to destroy. But I can't find much. I do find a place to drop a beacon though. While that character that places it is saying it, the other one has to fight off enforcers targeting the beacon. Like the computer in Chapter 7, the beacon being destroyed is a game over. This first one is pretty easy and I chew through them. The second the last one dies, the beacon is set up. So I move on to the next one. However, this wave of enforcers gave me quite a bit of trouble, mainly because they enter at once from 2 opposite points, and in the time it takes to turn around and take on the other group, you've been shot a lot. I found the best way to do it was to get on one side and shoot from there. I get to take out the ones coming in from the opposite side, and the ones coming in from my side don't seem to react to me until they step past a certain point. This lets me keep an eye on all of them at once and easily shoot them all down. Riot dudes are still a pain though, try and shoot the 2 pixels of foot I can hit. Now for that last one. This is even harder for the same reason as the seconds, but this time there's a more wide space for the enforcers to move around in, so I don't have an easy method like last time. This took a few tries and simply required good aiming, reacting in time, and being aware of where every enforcer is after your multiple retries. Freak finds that the satellite is hidden in a gasometer in the gasworks. I head over to the gasworks but can't get in because the keypad is code protected and only the foreman of this zone has it. So Spanky has to go find him and get the code out of him. He's very close by, so I just shoot him in the legs to stop him from getting away and start interrogating. But I accidentally kill him and have to find another foreman. There's another around the corner and this time I get the code. I return to Libra and have her put it in to open the gate. A small group of Mallrats show up to help as we charge in on the gasworks. There's a lot of explosive stuff around here, so I can get a lot of quick kills in even if all but one of my Mallrats died in 10 seconds. While Invincible AI Spanky takes on the enforcers, I just run around finding what I can to destroy. After a while, I get climbing the ramp onto the gasometer. Before climbing the ladder, I run around the back to find this chapter's hidden target and shoot it. I climb the ladder, which leads to me walking counterclockwise along this catwalk, taking out all the enforcers running around at me. I'm basically always taking 2 steps forward, leaning around the corner, shooting and then repeating. I reach another ladder and get up it. Then I just have to do more of the same, but since I'm at such low health, I die. With restored health, I fight around to a third ladder that has me dealing with the shield fuckers. At the end of this third catwalk is the computer room, but it's filled with more enforcers. As soon as I kill the ones in view, I take 1 step in front of the door and promptly drop dead. Since I'm aware of the ones hiding to the left, I take them out too, followed by the one in the far back. I then spend a huge chunk of time shooting out all the computer monitors, only to find I'm still 300 grand away from the destruction target. I mess around with the main computer, making all TV screens display Freak as he shows the public about Empyrean. As Libra climbs back down, the gate shuts and the alarm goes off, but there's a tank down here I can steal. I get inside and Freak tells us to go to the workers zone square. Before breaking out, I get blowing up everything around me and very quickly reach that 430,000 destruction target. I blast the gate open and get the usual enforcers and tanks as I make my way to this tunnel and escape. With the truth out to the public, a gigantic citywide riot breaks out. The military is sent in to bring down the riot, leaving the military base open for us to get in. Once again, I unlock a character I don't recognise from multiplayer, Betty. Chapter 10, Barracks. After we gravely wounded the corporation in the first game, they've moved their central offices to a heavily fortified island with this military base in front of it. We need to clear this place out so we can get to that island and take them out before they can have their meeting with various world leaders to sell them Empyrean. First, Bull has to fight his way through a mass of enforcers alone to find the entrance to the sewage tunnel. This first section is easy, but then I turn a corner and there's loads of them. But there's some explosive barrels so they're manageable. But as I head further in and turn another corner, that's when the helicopter shows up above and starts trying to shoot me. Luckily its aim isn't perfect, so I take out the ground enforcers at the other side of this lane. I reach the end of the lane and then turn again towards the next. One of the enforcers around here drops a rocket launcher. There's also some crates I can shoot open for grenades. It takes a huge amount of misses, but I finally hit that helicopter with a rocket and bring it down. I reach the end of this lane, but before I move on again, there's enforcers in the next section I can kill early by shooting them through this fence. This makes it easier for me to reach the end of this section and take the ladder down into the drainage tunnels. First I break open this door, then go through the empty tunnel to break open another. I go through another doorway to find a locked door Freak can't open for me. So Libra takes over, starting off in the exact spot Bull started this level, but Freak opens a gate off to the side that leads to a ladder onto a roof. This is another stealth section like back in chapter 7. I almost laughed when I loudly gunned these two guys down and shot the alarm speaker, then turned around and there was a guy stood right next to me with no idea what was happening. In the next section they spot me just as I destroy the alarm, so they couldn't really do anything. This leads to another ladder that leads to more sneaking. This time I'm not so lucky. The enforcers that spot me are slippery bastards that avoid all my shots and manage to set off the alarm. But it doesn't matter as I reach this wall and have to do another tedious rappelling section. This one is the worst to finish, as I have less space to shoot the enforcers and they're constantly shooting from windows below me, so I get killed while turning to find them. Let's just skip to 10 minutes later when I get past it, there's nothing interesting to it. I first spend a long time shooting all the monitors for that destruction target. However, it will turn out that I don't achieve that target this time. Once I finally use the computer, I open the door for Bull so he can get in, but there are now 4 locked doors, each with their own combination of coloured lights. I have to figure out which door leads to the next area and have Libra open it. Guessing the wrong door has me attacked by enforcers and I'll have to kill them all before I can try again. I guess it right first time, but I get curious about what's in the other room since I don't know what happens if I get wrong yet. So I let myself get killed in the tunnel I opened. I try every wrong door I can, hoping to either find the hidden target or something to destroy. None of the wrong doors have either of those. So what I'm going to do is skim over half an hour of getting things wrong on purpose and getting killed and just show the correct path. So I go through the tunnel I opened first time and fight my way to the next room. This door here is the next correct one and I have to fight to another big room. And this door here is the last correct one I need to open and it leads back outside. There's one last wave of enforcers to deal with and I take them out first try even with such low health. To end the chapter, I pull the switch to open the gate and let Spanky and the others through. While looking through files, Libra finds that the corporation has already been using Empyrean on the military and the troops are all being controlled remotely, but she can't get any more information because the codes are on a memory chip, but Freak can trace a signal. Chapter 11, The General. Back to Spanky and Bull, more troops come in and I've gained a grenade launcher, a regular machine gun with a few grenades it can launch at the same time. There's a lot of troops and I last until there were only 2 left before I get killed myself. Despite there being knee-high cover, apart from leaning around walls, there isn't much of a cover system, so I'm out in the open getting shredded constantly. It's not until my 6th try I take them all out. But before I move on, the hidden target is just off to the side behind some boxes. I then go down the slope and through the gate. On this bridge we see the general trying to escape by boat. He has the memory chip, so we get in the boat ourselves and chase him. Spanky drives after him while Bull gets the rocket launcher to deal with all the boats and helicopters chasing us. These rockets home and come out at an incredible speed. The only downside to killing these guys so quickly is that I hear the same "yeah, take a swim bitch" voice clip from Bull every few seconds. It goes on for a few minutes until the general gets the machine gun out, so now I have to drive the boat myself and shoot at him. I have the grenade launcher for taking out helicopters while Bull automatically shoots enemies and the general if he gets close to them. Only issue is I have a hard time steering and keep ramming myself into walls, letting him get away, which is a game over. Next time I ignore everything else and just stay glued to him. After a certain amount of damage he'll change his route and start dropping mines behind his boat. He manages to gain a big lead as hitting a mine just stops you for a second, but I manage to catch up and almost deplete his boat's health, but he hits me with too many mines and I die, and then on subsequent attempts he keeps escaping. It doesn't help that I can be right on him and both just won't fire sometimes. In the end it takes about 7 tries to take out his boat. He pulls up and tries running off, so Bull goes after him while Spanky keeps the boat. I run through an empty street until I reach this square where General Mayhem is now backed up by a load of enforcers and is a floor higher where I can't reach. So I have to shoot him, the enforcers, and these windows for the destruction target. First that $450,000 destruction target is reached, now I can focus on fighting. The General doesn't take that much damage even from being shot in the head, so I pin him in a corner for a while with the grenade launcher. After enough damage he escapes into a lift and more enforcers come in and kill me right before I'm about to heal. A couple deaths later I take out his reinforcements and take him on again on the opposite side of the square. I take almost half this health before an enforcer kills me again. At about half health he gets on this turret, but that makes him a stationary target, so I then shoot out a huge chunk of his life. He then escapes back into the lift again. That's when the riot shields get involved. The General returns to where he started this fight and I reduce him to the last little bits of health. But he still escapes into another lift and his final set of reinforcements kill me. A couple tries later and I take them all out to make him face me himself, where I put a few bullets in his neck to finish him and take the memory chip. I return to the boat and Spanky sends the data in the chip over to Freak. I unlock Heavy Enforcer and Wireframe for multiplayer. I also somehow beat this chapter in under the 13 minutes needed for the time challenge, so this is the first chapter I won't need to replay. Chapter 12, HQ Island, the final level. Mac and Libra are stuck in the compound being shot at, but now Freak has the memory chip, he now has control of the soldiers, granting us a free army. I can now recruit them all like Spanky's gang members. Once I've done so, it's time to storm that bridge to HQ Island. There are 3 checkpoints along the bridge that I have to clear out on the way, but right away I get stun-locked to death by enforcers with rocket launchers. So next time I hang back and snipe them off from a distance. With them dead I'm free to pull the switch to remove the first gate, only for a chunk of my soldiers to get rocketed to death. And once that guy's dealt with, so many more come pouring out but it slows down my game. And there's a helicopter above us too. Once again I'm rocket stun-locked to death. I kill all the rocket users to make some turrets start shooting at me instead, but the rocket launcher I took from the soldiers I killed puts a stop to that. I take down the helicopter too. A few more troops and another turret and I can reach the second switch and remove that gate. Now I'm dealing with rocket dudes, a turret and a helicopter at once. And I couldn't snipe the rocket guy because my soldiers wouldn't get their great big heads out of the way, so Mac wound up near death and I had to swap to Libra who doesn't have a rifle. But at this point just running and gunning is a viable strategy once the rocket user is dead. I make it to the final checkpoint and remove the gate, letting me on to HQ Island where Bull and Spanky are already fighting. I shoot out everyone and turn to the next street where there's a tank facing me. If I turn left there's a turret I can use to take it out. That leaves us free to attack the corporation's main building, and shoot out all their windows of course. The enforcers are easy to deal with. The issue is 2 turrets way out in the back, and since Mac is so close to death I daren't switch back to him and use the rifle. I manage to inch my way closer to them and lose a lot of health doing so. In the end I backtrack for some grenades but die on the way back. Next time I just rocket them and now all enemies are dead and I'm free to break everything. Then comes 5 minutes of me shooting every window because the destruction target is $1 million. But there's only enough for me to reach a quarter of that, so I approach the corporation's main building. All the corporation's executives are inside, working out the deal for selling the Empyrean. Mac's idea is to blow them all up right now. Freak points out a helicopter for him to steal and has been looking through the corporation's weapon inventory. And there's a boat on this island carrying a bomb strong enough to wipe out the entire island, and it's just left unattended. So the plan is to take the bomb, place it on top of the HQ building and take all of them out at once. So Mac has everyone else evacuate the island while he gets in the helicopter. I still need to reach that destruction target though, so I spend a while flying around, shooting the helicopters that face me and any turrets, but I do get shot down myself a couple times. After about 10 minutes I'm in the 800 grands but I can't find anything else to destroy, so I go pick up that brimstone bomb. But before I can put it on the HQ, more helicopters show up to stop me. I easily take them out, place that bomb and watch the island go kaboom and all the corporation leaders with it, which will allow the citizens to regain control of Capital City, since there's no one left to take over. I unlock Freak in multiplayer and it turns out nuking the island adds 10 times the destruction target to your total, so you can't not achieve it. No ending though, just credits. Of course I'm not done yet, there's still the time, destruction and hidden targets I missed to get. So back to chapter 1. The time target is to finish in less than 5 minutes 20 seconds, and I still have to find the hidden target. Well, for this one I just don't mess around, and since I know how to play the game, I clear it in 4:21, unlocking character masks. The hidden targets I have to find myself, as this game has barely any documentation, so I couldn't find a single location listed anywhere on the internet. For the hidden target, in the cell block I climb this ladder in the middle, and at the top, the target is off to the side. For chapter 2 I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, as the time target is less than 3 minutes. I decide to look for the hidden target and reach the destruction target first. It's right here on the rooftops on top of this. For the destruction target I cause the last few bits of damage by shooting all this glass below me, leaving Bull to get shot up. I unlock heavy guard in multiplayer. For the time target I try to skip the drones and get past them as quick as I can, but I either get destroyed or it takes too long. Then after about 20 minutes I found out that they put a run button on one of the shoulder buttons and never told me about it the entire game. This would have been very helpful all those times I died while I was inches away from a health pack. I simply ignore all the enemies and belt it past them. If I die, so what? I get checkpointed later on in the level with my health refilled and timer rolled back to when I first reached it. The problem is the sniper section at the end. If Bull gets knocked on his ass on his way to the next warden office, you lose time. So I end up finishing just 6 seconds late. But I eventually knock that time to 2:57, unlocking tiny characters. In chapter 3, after exiting the building, I look up to the left with the sniper to find the hidden target. The time target is 6:30 for this one, so I just use the same strategy. Brute force it, running past all the enemies I don't need to kill. After 20 straight minutes of getting killed, the stars align and I just run past everything I can to unlock huge characters with a time of 5:41. In chapter 4, near the Enforcer's drug lab, the hidden target is up the stairs behind a bit of scenery. 5:50 is the target for this one. This is one of the easier ones. Outside of the opening section, there's only the shootout after the interrogation and then the drug lab where I'm under real threat of death. Also, you've got to make sure you get the interrogation perfect. Any weak hits just waste time. I do die quite a bit at the drug lab, but once I'm past it, I've unlocked the no radar option for clearing it in 5:21. For chapter 5 I already know where the hidden target is, only this time it actually recognises me shooting it. The time target is also 5:50 here. With how slow the tank moves, it feels like you'll never get it in time, which leads to you rushing and getting blown to shit. It's 25 straight minutes of ignoring enemies and hoping they miss enough shots before I finally blow up all the shipping containers and unlock the farmyard noises option for clearing it in 5:45, just 5 seconds under the target. Once again, I already know where the hidden target is in chapter 6 and make sure I hit it. This time I reach the destruction target, but I don't feel like I did anything different, so I have no idea where I got that extra damage from. This unlocks whoever Helmut is for multiplayer. The time target is 13:20. This is so generous because a massive chunk of the level is the automated tank section, so I just have to make sure I'm running full speed whenever I'm not in the tank. This is one of the easiest to reach, unlocking the one-shot kills option for clearing it in exactly 10 minutes, 3 full minutes under the target. Chapter 7 only has the time target left, 9 minutes. Once again, fuck stealth, just run. This gets me to the helicopter in just less than 1 minute. Then straight to the radio transmitter and to the building where Libra's being held. Rappelling is slow, not much you can do about that. Then belt it to the end and the download section takes a set amount of time. I unlock the rapid fire sniper option for finishing it in 6:48. For chapter 8, the hidden target is above this roof in the police precinct. I have 10 minutes for this stage as time target. It's actually a pretty simple one. The only huge firefight is you and the mall rats against the police. Everything else is a quick small skirmish. So as long as I keep hold of that run button, I have plenty of time to do the slow tank section. I unlock invincibility with a final time of 9:15. For chapter 9 it's just the time target, also 10 minutes. For this one it's mainly running, then several deaths in a row trying to rush each firefight until I get the successful one where the beacon is set. Then for climbing the gasometer, I just zigzag past every enforcer at full speed to avoid their fire. But eventually they get strong enough that I do have to slow down a little and actually kill them to stay alive. I unlock infinite ammo with a time of 7:56. In chapter 10 the hidden target is in this alcove in the first sewer section as Bull. The destruction target in this level is definitely the hardest though. You need to destroy absolutely everything. Doing so unlocks the soldier in multiplayer. The time target is 9:30. In comparison, this is easy. Another fuck the enemies just run level. Just make sure you open all the right doors in the last section and you unlock the exploding death option. My time was 5:48, so you have plenty of time to make mistakes. The time target for chapter 12 is a very generous 20 minutes, and anyone playing normally should get it. Of course I was shooting out every window first time, so I didn't. I unlocked 8-bit mode with a time of 13:11. As for the final hidden target, just take a few steps forward and look up. There it is. I can't believe I never noticed it twice before. Getting them all unlocks battle mode in multiplayer. Now that should be the end of the game, but there's still arcade mode to get through, so let's just get this over with. It's a series of shortish challenges with bronze, silver and gold rankings depending on how well I do. First is the sniper challenge where I have to shoot prison guards during a riot. Killing the prisoners results in a 5-second penalty each. A single kill is worth 1 point, and quick successive skills are worth bonus points, the bonus increasing by 5 every time the more I keep the combo up. This makes it easy for me to reach the 120 points for gold with over 30 seconds left. I finish with 198 points, unlocking Super Sniper Challenge and Ghetto Chaos. Next is the Helicopter Challenge. I've got to fly around the prison island killing all 17 enforcers. No real tips to this otherwise, just be quick and memorise where they all are. It only takes me 2 tries to clear it in 1 second under the 1 minute 20 for the gold. I unlock the Mini Tank Challenge. Super Sniper Challenge next. This time the enforcers are harder to shoot as they're always running and never stop. To make up for it, I only need 80 points for gold. This one just takes practice, and after 2 disastrous first attempts, my third has me with over 100 points with a minute 20 remaining. I finish with 222 points, unlocking the Mounted Gun Challenge. Ghetto Chaos next. This is supposed to be a recreation of the first game's main Chaos mode, except it's just not as fun because this game's style of gameplay is a lot slower and doesn't suit it as well. So yeah, I'm just playing as Bull, shooting up everything I can in the Chapter 5 environment. I can get bonus time from killing enforcers and even better bonuses through headshots. It's easy enough to rack up the multipliers, but it just makes me wish I was playing the first game instead. Even the announcer shouting over it is more repetitive and less memorable. I reached the $550,000 in damage for gold with 25 seconds left and unlock Workers Zone Chaos. Next is Mini Tank Challenge. There's 36 enforcers around this map and I have to kill them all with this tank as quick as I can. The target for gold is to clear it in less than 1:30. I just have to drive around the Chapter 8 map looking for them all and then memorise where they are. It takes about 6 attempts, but I eventually do it in 1:24. It unlocks the Rocket Challenge. Then comes the Mounted Gun Challenge. This one drove me up the wall. I have a crowd of rioting prisoners constantly under attack by enforcers, and I have to keep them alive as long as possible. Timer stops when they're all dead. Thing is, enforcers are in with the crowd, so it's too easy to do their job for them and kill prisoners while aiming at enforcers, and the less prisoners there are, the quicker they start dropping dead. They also get backed up by helicopters and turrets, and dealing with them means taking your eyes off the ones in the crowd. This is another one where the only solution is to play it a lot and memorise which side of the screen the enforcer's coming from and when. The worst moment was 10 minutes in when I lost my last prisoner 2 seconds away from the gold. In the end, this one took me 20 minutes for that 2-minute survival. Now we have Workers Zone Chaos, where I'm swapping to Spanky, and the aim is $800,000 in damage to the Chapter 8 map. It's a bit tougher as I now have tanks to take on while on foot, but there are more limited bonuses such as for destroying windows. This one took around 20 minutes too. You need to gather a lot of time bonuses and stay alive for a long time. The arcade mode exclusive chain gun is a good weapon for dealing with huge mobs of enforcers and racking up a huge bonus though. In this attempt I go beyond the $800,000 for gold and finish with over $1,117,000 in damages. Rocket Challenge next. I'm still on the bridge to HQ Island with a rocket launcher, shooting at approaching enforcers and helicopters with the odd tank every so often. My feet are glued to this spot so I can't dodge. Not much else to this one, and it takes me 4 attempts to survive the 2 minutes 30 seconds required for gold. In fact, I survived for over 3 minutes. This unlocks the Speedboat Challenge. And that's the next one. It's just a boring drive-through rings challenge. There's a couple mines in the water and a part constantly swapping sides under this bridge to throw you off. But it only takes me 3 tries to finish in 1 minute 33 seconds, 2 seconds under the target for gold. This unlocks the Mounted Gun 2 challenge. But first is the Enforcer Challenge, where I have to pilot a helicopter and destroy a speedboat. It takes me about 5 minutes to get the pacing and distance right for constant homing missile shots so that I can finish it in less than a minute for the gold. This unlocks Rocket Challenge 2 while I'm just begging the game to let me be done already. Next is another speedboat race where I'm actually racing other boats, and this one is a pain in the arse. If another boat rubs against you from behind, you just lose all momentum and stop dead in your tracks and you're not winning. Takes 10 minutes for me to win this one in 1:31, coming first for the gold. Fuck this one, moving on. Mounted Gun Challenge 2, now we're moving on to Libra's challenges. This time all the enforcers are coming for me, so I just have to survive as long as I can. There are some cars I can blow up to take out a few at once. The biggest threats are any enforcers with rocket launchers that are off screen, because you can lose most of your health while turning to face them. I died the first time, but this is one of the easier ones, so in my second try I survived past the 3 minutes for the gold. Rocket Challenge 2. This time I'm on the abandoned street from Chapter 6, but it's barely any different to the first one. The goal is surviving for 1 minute 30 seconds, and I get that on my second try. Helicopter Challenge 2. 3 minutes in the helicopter section of Chapter 7 to kill as many enforcers as possible, with the goal requiring 60. I've already explained how easy it is to die in the level this place is from. It takes me 15 minutes to get that target. Getting there, just one left. Enforcer Tank Chaos. Drive a tank around the Chapter 8 map and blow everything up. This time I'm playing as an enforcer, so I'm encouraged to mow down civilians. The playable cast will also show up for me to kill for a huge bonus. In a more fun game, this would be a worthy final challenge, but instead it's a boring slog with me just waiting for that point counter to reach 200,000. But every failure is just the game denying me from being done. When you're close at this point and you die out of nowhere, you get annoyed. And in the end, it took 24 minutes until I hit that 200 grand, getting all gold on every challenge. That's the game fully completed as well, all cheats unlocked and all multiplayer characters too. Multiplayer is nothing special, just the usual deathmatch and flag stuff. I doubt if I had a second player it would make the game any more fun. There's a last man standing mode where I tried to kill all enforcers running around, but that's about it. The first State of Emergency was a game I wasn't expecting much from, but it turned out to be one of the biggest surprises on this show for how fun I found it. State of Emergency 2 on the other hand is probably the biggest disappointment since finally getting to play 40 Winks and not liking it. Literally everything in this game was downgraded. The fast-paced arcadey feel was dropped for a slower, blander third-person shooter style that feels especially underwhelming for 2006. The story may now have actual cutscenes and acting, but the many missions and text box only dialogue the first game had let them fit in loads more story. That over a third of the game's story deals with a boring prison break, followed up by another rescue mission, only leaving the last third or so to deal with taking on the corporation, doesn't help. Nor does the focus on Mac, who gets the most limelight and is the most boring. Maybe if he was still wearing loud Hawaiian shirts it would give him some character, but instead most of the game is spent on the most generic looking character making shit quips, sounding like he's failing to pull off a Solid Snake impersonation with the gravelly voice. Soundtrack is completely forgettable. No music ranking for now by the way, I couldn't find the game's soundtrack anywhere and my own attempts at ripping it didn't exactly go well. And even in the arcade mode, where we do get something closer to the first game, the changes in gameplay sucks out the fun. Far from the worst game I've ever played, it's not bad enough for that, but it is one of the most disappointing for its blandness. And there's my second full series completed on this show. One surprisingly good game followed by a bland sequel that squanders the potential. Really, I feel this is how most 2-game franchises go. Huge shame. If you want to get out your frustrations with evil corporations and act out a violent uprising, you're better off with the first game. Not only is it better, it's much cheaper.